What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City live stream watch-along. Today we're going to be doing the Premier League live watch-along of the game between Newcastle United and Manchester City. Big game in the Premier League. Newcastle, they want European football next season. That's going to be their ambition. Squad looking very stretched. They've got a lot of injuries. Home game, they need to do something here against Manchester City. With City, 7 wins in our last 8 games in all competitions, looking to start as we mean to go on. Try and get that pressure applied to Aston Villa first and foremost, and then to Liverpool as well. Aston Villa, they're not playing until there we go. I think we're back in business. Not too sure what happened there. StreamYard, who I am using today's service provider for, just thought we're randomly going to cut it off. There we go. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. We are ready to go. I'd love to say it's a technical glitch on my behalf. It's not. Nothing to do with me. Everything on here perfectly fine. Just StreamYard thought that it would cut me short there. So there we go. Anyway, as you can see, not our usual location, and that's not going to be the case for the next couple of weeks or so, unfortunately. It's just due to circumstance. As much as I'd love to be back in the JSGC studio with the lights up, microphone and everything, but we'll be back there hopefully in a couple of weeks' time. But we start as we mean to go on here. Manchester City taking on Newcastle away from home, big Premier League game. Really looking forward to it. So before I do crack on with this live watch along, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then please do leave a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. On the last few streams, we have smashed past 100 likes, and we're already a quarter of the way there. We're only 75 likes away from that game, now 74 likes, making good progress towards that. So any help towards that will be much appreciated. Also, don't forget as well to leave your thoughts in the live chat. I can see we've already got quite a few people in the live chat as well. Much appreciated. I could appreciate a few of you guys just letting me know that things had gone a bit wrong. So much appreciated. Everybody for just letting me know, and if there is any other hiccups, do just let me know, and I'll see what I can do about that. As I said, the little shortage there was due to StreamYard and not myself. Thankfully, if it was down to myself and I don't know how to solve it, I'm able to do the live stream. So thankfully, that wasn't down to me, and hopefully that won't happen again. Please behave yourself, StreamYard. Anyway, we've got Ravi in the chat, much appreciated. Says smash the likes and subscribe. That would be fantastic. We have recently smashed past 33,000 subscribers, which is brilliant. We're now on that push to 34,000 subscribers, and already now less than 900 subscribers away, for actually less than 850 subscribers away. So making some good progress. Tubey Boy, thanks for tuning in. I do remember you, by the way, my friend, Hull City fan. Thank you very much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Andrew as well. I'd say big up. Thanks for tuning in once more. Also, thank you very much to JSO for tuning in. Much appreciated. Just going through the chat here just to make sure I don't miss anybody, so I can say hello to everyone that has tuned in. OG getting his score predictions in nice and early, going for a nice positive 2-1 victory for Manchester City. It's also my score prediction for this game, and I will speak about that in just one moment when we go through the team. So OG getting his score prediction in nice and early. So guys, get your score predictions in the chat as well. That would be fantastic. We've also got Boy in the chat, much appreciated. Dalton, I know the screen went blank, my friend. We should be good and back in business now. Thank you very much for tuning in as well. Captain Harris, thanks for tuning in, says big up Jay. Much appreciated. Dalton reckons this is going to be a great game. I'm hoping so too. And hopefully, fingers crossed, 3 points here for Manchester City. We're going to have to work really hard to get these 3 points. Newcastle, even though they've got an array of injuries, still have a very good team. So it's going to take Manchester City to be on it today to win this game. Sharma, thanks for tuning in. Says, if I had to choose between Indian, Chinese, Italian and Mexican cuisine, which would I choose and how would I rank these? That is a brilliant question right at the start of the stream. Might be right up there with the best question of the stream. Right. I would go in order. Fourth, probably Mexican. Third, Italian. Second, Chinese. Indian food for me goes in first place. And that's mainly because I'm craving a good Indian. And it has to be traditional, proper Indian food. Right up there as some of the very best food that you can get out there. I'm not great with spice. But as I said, I've not had an Indian in a while or a really good Indian. Homemade Indian cooking, by the way, guys, is top tier scran. So, yeah. And a lot of Indian food, of course, is veggie-based, vegetable-based, rather than meat-based. So you get a lot of Indian takeaways over here in the UK that are very heavy in meat, yet your traditional Indian food isn't very heavy in meat. It's more made with herbs, spices, and vegetables. So you find yourself an authentic Indian restaurant, top tier as far as I'm concerned. And I'd put that in at number one. Chinese, a close second. Can't beat a good Chinese if you ask me. They're all good choices. Italians are great. Mexicans, you get the right Mexican food. They'd all be brilliant. Out of the 4 countries that you named there with the cuisine, I've only had the pleasure of visiting Italy. Their food, top notch, brilliant. Love their food. I'd have to go to India, China, and Mexican to try their authentic food so I could give you a fair comparison there. But what a question to come in at the early parts of the stream. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much, Sharma, for that question. Andrew getting his in, going with Italian first, Mexican second, Chinese third, and Indian fourth. Dalton going for a 3-0 victory today for Manchester City. Love that one. Julia, welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in as well. Julia, now a 10-month member of the JSGC channel. Legend. Shout out to Julia. Much appreciated. Chubby Boy going for a 4-2 victory, away victory today for Manchester City. Boy, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Jay So going with a 3-1 victory today for Manchester City. Andrew said he's Trinidad Tobagoan. Is that how you say that? I'm not sure. We've got Trinidad in the room. Fantastic. Love to see that one. Jay So going, probability maybe a 1-1. We need the dub. We need the win. We need the 3 points. A point today is no good for Man City and it's no good for Newcastle. There needs to be a winner as far as I am concerned. Thank you very much to Kasushik for tuning in. Says Foden. He reckons he should be going for the Ballon d'Or. He's going to win the Euros with England. He's a big fan of Phil Foden. Do you know, is that a bad shout? Is it? If England go on to win the European Championships, I'd love to say, being English, that's going to happen. But, been supporting England now for a very long time, we all know that it's not going to happen. But if it did, and Manchester City replicate what they did last season, and Phil Foden being one of the standout players for us so far this season, like I said, is it a bad shout that it'd be right up there for best player in the Premier League and for a potential Ballon d'Or? Because what gives you a Ballon d'Or if not to be successful both domestically in the biggest competitions in the world and on the international stage as well? Is that the worst shout? I don't think so. Thank you very much there for the very interesting topic. What is my music taste? Varied is what my music taste is. It can range from some cringy, cheesy pop songs. It can range right through to rock and roll, throw in a bit of R&B, a little bit of rap maybe. There we go. I said my music taste tends to be quite a varied taste. All depends what I'm in the mood for, really. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, right. I've not even finished my promos. Do subscribe, and social media links there in the description, you know where you can find them, guys. Rightio, we're going to crack on because we've only got 15 minutes left until we have kickoff for this game between Newcastle United and Manchester City. So we're going to go through the teams, and we're going to start with our opponents today, which is Newcastle United. And when I go through their bench, you're going to see what I mean when I say that their squad's looking pretty stretched. So Dubravka starts in goal, Nick Pope injured. Back four, Kieran Trippier, Fabian Schar, Sven Botman and Dan Burn. Livramento doesn't make the bench. I don't know if he's injured, but he doesn't make the bench. So it's Paul Dummett and Jamal Lascelles as their two backup defenders on the bench. Not too shabby. I don't think they're having too many problems defensively other than that Livramento absentee in the squad. Now head into midfield and it's starting to look a little bit stretched. Sean Longstaff, Lewis Miley and Bruno G as their three central midfielders today. There's obviously a 6-week injury to Joelinton. That's a big blow for Newcastle and a big blow as well in this game as well. They need their strongest and best players. Joelinton, he's been, to me, top 5 standout players for Newcastle. He's arguably, in my opinion, been one of the most improved players that they've had over the last season or so. Joelinton stepping up to the plate, Bruno G stepping up to the plate has worked wonders for them. They've looked like a much stronger, better team with them there. Not having Joelinton and, of course, the ban on Sando Tonali weakens their midfield tenfold as far as I'm concerned. In attack, looking pretty good. Anthony Gordon will start on the left-hand side. Miguel Almiron will start on the right-hand side and Alexander Isak will lead their line. So it's looking like it's full strength in attack. Just head on to the bench, though. Mark Gillespie and Loris Karius, their two backup goalkeepers. As I said, Paul Dummett and Jamal Lascelles as their two defenders. Gets a bit stretched. Lewis Hall, new signing brought in from Chelsea in the summer. Emil Kraft, Alex Murphy, Matt Ritchie, Ben Parkinson. There's no real depth or quality of depth to Newcastle on that bench. Are there players that are going to make the difference in them big moments in this game? I don't think so. But I do think it's a pretty strong 11, which is why I said City, they need to be at their very best today to pick up the 3 points. And I'm confident that they can do so. I think right now is a good time to be playing Newcastle. 3 consecutive Premier League games they've lost, away against Luton, at home against Nottingham Forest, away against Liverpool. Lost all 3 of them. They did win the Tyne-Wear derby last weekend against Sunderland. They're a championship outfit. You can't really judge upon that. You can't judge it's a derby. They're well up for the game. Taking on Manchester City a week after, having injury to Joelinton as well, isn't going to serve any real purpose for Newcastle and their preparations for the season. To me, Newcastle, they want European football next season. They have to win this game. Just looking at the league table, they're currently sitting in 10th place. They're on 29 points from 20 games. They're currently on course for less than 60 points. That won't get them Champions League football next season. It's not going to with the strength of the Premier League right now. That's not going to get them Europa League football. And they'll be looking at 7th place and the Europa Conference League. Now, to go from a top 4 team, a Champions League team, into potentially not featuring in Europe is a big come down. And just over the last couple of weeks, some question marks are being put out there. I don't think they should be getting rid of Eddie Howe, but there are people that are speaking about it. They're speaking about having to sell some of their players to be able to compete and stay within the financial fair play restraints. So clearly, there's something not quite right at Newcastle, which is why I say I think this is a fantastic time for us to play them. Hopefully, we can get it done. Adam, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. I love that. Gucci going for Foden greater than Rishi. Truby says he's got a question. Fire away, my friend. Adam, he's been on the drink since 10 o'clock this morning. 10 a.m. A bottle of Captain Morgan's, 15 bottles of cider, and he's still bloody going. My. As Andrew says, keep safe, my friend. Keep safe. Andrew, enlighten to me. What is the head-to-head record against Newcastle? Enlighten to me. I've not seen it published anywhere, but I've not been too active on my social media over the last 24 hours or so. So I've not had the full preparation. I do all my notes and everything 3-4 days before, so things don't filter through. Sometimes it gets lost by me unless I'm on social media on the day of the game, which today just been a little bit busy right up until kickoff for this game, which is why I've not managed to have a look at that. So we're going to have a look at Manchester City's starting 11 now for this game. We're starting, of course, with Ederson in goal. Looks like it's going to be a back four, but I reckon it's probably going to be a back three made up of Kyle Walker on the right-hand side, captain in Manchester City today, and his name has been all over the tabloids in the UK for the last few days, with him recently separating from his wife. As I said, that is a private matter. I mentioned it in my preview, and I'll mention it again on the stream. It's a private matter that's between Kyle Walker, his wife, and the family. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. People have been putting their opinions in. Your opinions are irrelevant. You know, what happens between them is between them. So, as I said, it's a private matter. All I care about is Kyle Walker performing on the pitch. Is Kyle Walker mentally ready? As long as the head coach, Pep Guardiola, thinks that he's ready, and Kyle Walker says that he's ready, and he goes out there and puts in 100% effort, I'm happy with that. So he starts, and I've got no problem with that. It looks like it's going to be Ruben Dias going alongside him, going through the centre, with Josko Gvardiol going on the left-hand side, which I think is going to invert Nathan Ake more into midfield. He'll go onto that left-hand side of defensive midfield, which should see Rodri go to the other side. It could be Mateo Kovacic. I thought if we were going with that back four, we might have started Rico Lewis so he could go on that right-hand side. But recently, we've been seeing Pep wanting more from Rico Lewis offensively for him to go forward rather than defensively, which is why Matheus Nunes doesn't start in this game and Kovacic does. It was, for me, a choice between Kovacic and Rico Lewis. Pep's gone with the experienced player. Of course, big game away from home, decent team, Newcastle. Not an easy game for City, so he's stuck safe and gone with Kovacic, which is exactly what I said in my preview. And then further ahead of him, you're going to have Phil Foden going through the centre for Manchester City. It'll almost operate as the attacking midfielder playing behind the striker, Julian Alvarez, which means Bernardo Silva. Back with Manchester City, of course, back from his illness. Good to see. He goes on the right-hand side. I thought it was going to be Grealish on the left-hand side. He's also over his illness, but he doesn't start. It is Jeremy Doku instead. So Kieran Trippier, he's in for a very busy afternoon. The big talking point from Manchester City, De Bruyne is back. De Bruyne is fit. De Bruyne is ready to start, but he doesn't start in this game. Pep Guardiola, he's done exactly what I said in my preview. He only came back and did, 15, 20 minutes against Huddersfield. It's great when you 2-3-0 up. You can bring these players on at home in an FA Cup game when a team's heads have already dropped. He's not played any competitive action for Manchester City so far this season. You ease him back in. I give him 20 or 30 minutes of competitive action. I start him against Spurs in a couple of weeks' time, as long as he's responding well from his little time period away. So Manchester City, after this game, the players are going to be given, I think it's 3 days off. They're then going to, on Wednesday, they're going to head out to Abu Dhabi for a warm weather training camp for roughly a week or so. And then they'll travel back to the UK, ready for the match against Tottenham Hotspur in the FA Cup, which is taking place next Friday, which I want to get my opinion in that. I said, don't speak about Kyle Walker. It's none of my business. What is my business is what happens on the field, what happens with Manchester City, and the decisions that are made, in particular by the television companies, giving a massive middle finger up to the fans. Man City's match announced it's going to be taking place in North London against Tottenham Hotspur. You're looking at nearly a 500-mile round trip for fans, taking place at 8 p.m. on a Friday evening. Completely unnecessary. The last train back from London to Manchester, 10 p.m. The game's probably not even going to be over at 10 p.m. or the final whistle will have gone a minute or two before. So trains, not an option for fans. So they've got to fork out on short notice to either stay overnight or drive down on the same day that you've got Chelsea taking on Aston Villa. The M1 heading down into London. It's going to be chocker. It's going to be horrific. No organisation, no planning, no thoughts for the fans. Disgraceful. There we go. Got my opinions in on that. Rightio, we're nearly ready now for kickoff here. Both teams in at the tunnel. So very quickly, just going through the Manchester City substitute bench: Stefan Ortega-Moreno, Rico Lewis, Sergio Gomez, Oscar Bobb, Mahamadou Sissoko. Great to see a couple of young players there for Manchester City. Oscar Bobb and Sissoko. Sissoko must be very excited. Kalvin Phillips, if he leaves Manchester City this month, which is what is expected to happen, then he's going to be given more and more opportunities around the first team squad, may even get some minutes as well. So very exciting time for him. Also on the bench, Kalvin Phillips, Jack Grealish, Matheus Nunes, and of course, Kevin De Bruyne. Expect him to get some minutes today. Really looking forward to it. As I said, do subscribe, guys, if you are new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Also, don't forget as well to leave your thoughts in the live chat. Where are you tuning in from around the world today? And do get your score predictions in the live chat. I'm going for a 2-1 victory today for City. 2 first-half goals. Phil Foden with the first. Julian Alvarez with the second. 2 informed players for Manchester City. A goal back in the second half for Alexander Isak, I think, for Newcastle United. Manchester City go on and pick up the important 3 points. Get yours where you're tuning in from and your score predictions in the live chat. Finally, please do leave a thumbs up. We're aiming for 100 likes. We are now 64 likes away from 100 likes, so any help towards that would be great. Only one more thing to speak about, and that's Erling Haaland. Pep Guardiola has confirmed that Erling Haaland has suffered a little bit of a setback in his recovery. We've not seen him since the early parts of December. He's not expected to be back now until the end of January. They think it's going to be too soon for him to be back in time for the match against Tottenham Hotspur. So the next time we're looking at maybe seeing Erling Haaland in the Manchester City squad will be that match away against Burnley on the final day of January 31st at the Etihad. If it's not to be that game, Man City may give it an extra few days and go into the match against Brentford away from home, which, as long as both teams don't end up in a replay in the 4th round of the FA Cup, will be played on the Monday night. And once more, giving another middle finger up to the fans. Thank you very much, TV companies, for that. And then, if he's not back for that, surely we're looking towards the middle of February and being back in time for our match at home. I think it is against, I want to say that it's against, I was going to say it's Burnley, but Burnley's on the 31st. On the 10th, it's Everton at home. Surely he's back for that, because if he's not back by then, he's probably not going to be playing against FC Copenhagen. So we will see. Quite a few international fans in here, which is brilliant to see. Says FA Cup game, 1:30 a.m. at night. Has a long train ride to uni, which is far from his home as well. It's just not ideal, is it? It's a terrible kickoff time. Although, if there's any Aussies in the chat, I think they'll be. Will they enjoy? Will it 8 p.m. kickoff on a Friday, Saturday morning? I think it'll be. Is it 6 a.m.? Particularly if you're on the east coast of Australia, they will be enjoying that kickoff time, so they get to benefit. Andrew going for a 3-1 victory, I presume, to Manchester City. And Andrew says 30 games played, Newcastle won just 1. Was that the League Cup game? Newcastle not won any more than that? That's shocking, if true. Absolutely shocking. There we go. And I agree with that. I think we should have put a buyback clause in Cole Palmer's deal. I think the Man City were happy with the fee. I think they thought they'd got more than what Cole Palmer were valued at the time. And so Manchester City decided just to accept the bid and go from there and just let him go and do his own thing. He's a quality player. I thought we were seeing the very best out of Cole Palmer at the beginning of the season. European Super Cup springs to mind. I was impressed with what I saw in the Community Shield as well. He clearly had it. And we're talking about buying a right winger in the summer. And it's amazing that we're now in the market for a right winger in the summer when we could have had Cole Palmer ready and set to go. Cole Palmer's been speaking about it and said the plan was to loan him. And then Pep said, you either stay or you're getting sold. And City decided to sell him and he was happy to go to Chelsea. He should have been loaned as far as I'm concerned. He wasn't. And we ended up getting rid of him instead. That could be very costly for Manchester City. Could be very costly. Anyway, nearly ready and set. St James's Park looks like it's bouncing, nice and full. Saturday night, Newcastle. Great. So, set for kick-off. City are going to be getting us underway, attacking from left to right, playing in their home shirts, sky blue shirts, white shorts, sky blue socks. Newcastle playing in their traditional home shirts of the black and white stripes, black shorts and white socks. Ederson sends it long, header won by Josko Gvardiol, headed out of play by Newcastle and out for an early throw in here for Manchester City, just near the penalty area. So Man City already into a good attacking position. Family, thanks for tuning in. I hope you're right. I'm hoping we will see Kevin De Bruyne. I think we're going to get at least 20 minutes out of him of competitive action, Premier League action. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing more of Kevin De Bruyne. So it does look like Rodri is going into that hole for Manchester City, and Josko Gvardiol has been given more freedom on that left-hand side. So it looks like it's going to be made up of a back three. That's a very risky pass from Ederson, being pressed by Alexander Isak. Ederson gives that away, and Isak's in for a tap-in. Very risky, considering we're, a minute or so into the game, and already early pressure being applied to Manchester City. City forced us to send it long. The loose second ball should be won by Jeremy Doku. He uses his pace really well. Referee comes back there for offside, I think, against Jeremy Doku. Was it? Who's offside? I don't understand. Man City were playing their action inside their own half. You can't be offside in your own half. Anyway, Newcastle are in here. Newcastle are in here. Newcastle are in here. Newcastle are ahead. Surely offside. The flag does go up. Linesman takes a while to put his flag up. I said last week in that Huddersfield match, bigging up the praises of the officials, nice early flags. Early ball over, smidgen offside. They'll get the lines out and check it. It looks like he's maybe half a yard off. It's a tight call. I mean, you've got to give the benefit of the doubt here to the officials that they'll let VAR have a look at this one and make the decision instead of the official. But you know, the linesman knows, having a real good look at it. Ball's put into the back of the net. There's nothing wrong with the finishing. It's all about the offside. In the meantime, Ederson's picked up an injury from being slid into. I think, as Jay So says there, to me, it's a clear offside. It's half a yard offside. They'll get the lines out and they'll have a look at it. They're going to waste the next 2 or 3 minutes having a good look at it to make sure that the correct decision is made. And to me, this is the biggest problem that I have with VAR, is just how thorough and how long it takes to come to any kind of decision. That it just takes all momentum away from a game. And it's completely unnecessary. Watch it in the Champions League the large majority of the time with the latest technology that the Premier League said no to at the beginning of the season. It takes them seconds to make a decision, and the correct decisions, in particular on offsides, are made. So they could just say, linesman, it's offside, flag's gone up, ball's been put into the net, have a quick look at it. Yeah, it's offside. There we go, we crack on. This is the problem now. Flag's gone up, he's offside. Ederson's injured. Stefan Ortega-Moreno now is out training. And I've said this before to you guys. They're not going to change this early flag rule. I hate this early, not putting the flag up when they think it's offside and letting play continue so VAR can make the decision. Eventually, it's going to lead to players getting injured or something serious happening. There's a flaw in the system. If you think back to that match at Old Trafford last season, Manuel Akanji, nothing stopped him chopping down Marcus Rashford, breaking his leg. And then the offside flag goes up and says, nothing wrong with it. He's legally allowed to do it. It's just, oh man. Anyway, moan over. Lydia, thanks very much for tuning in. Mike, thank you very much for tuning in, my friend. Weekend, seems to be going okay. Much appreciated. Do hope your weekend is okay as well. My prediction going for a 2-1 victory for Manchester City. Rightio, in the mix of all that injury, I've not seen any replays of the offside, so I presume that they've had a look at it with the lines and it is offside. It looked like a clear offside. Nadir says, looking like Ederson's done for the game. He's up. That's the positive. He's strapped up. He's up. And he's walking around and says, I'm okay. He's walking a little gingerly, so hopefully he will be okay. Nadir, I'm not a real fan of the officials either. Yeah, confirmed offside. So it remains 0-0. little warning sign there for Manchester City, though, as we're nearing on 40 likes now, which is brill. As we hit, Ederson's giving the ball away. Ederson's giving the ball away. Surely Newcastle are going to score, and he scuffed his shot. No, twice that Ederson has risked a pass that just isn't there. City need to wake up, and they need to wake up now. If Ederson's feeling any kind of injury, he needs to signal and go off, and City need to get to grips with this game before they end up going behind. We can't afford to go behind. Lydia, thanks very much. We love the Chesterfield. It is back, I can confirm, at least temporarily. Issa K, thanks for tuning in. Says, let's go City. Ederson's back down. Ederson's injured. Stefan Ortega-Moreno is going to come on. Honestly, these VARs. Ederson's distribution there just not great. And it nearly cost Manchester City a goal, and he just needs to get off. Does that hit Miguel Almiron's arm as he clears into him? It's Bruno G that just scuffs his shot, so he can't get it sorted. And Pep Guardiola, I think, instructed to Ederson, just go down, we'll stop the play, and we'll get this sorted. I think that's the correct call. Ortega-Moreno, of course, started and did 90 minutes for Manchester City in our last game against Huddersfield, so he will be match ready, match sharp. He's a good keeper. If there's concerns over Ederson, you get Ortega-Moreno in. I'm not happy with this VAR decision. This injury's come about because of that. Linesman knows it's offside. His flag goes up after the play once the ball's been put in the back of the net. We saw last week in the FA Cup, it flowed the game so much better. Linesman just said, it's offside. I know it's offside. My flag's going up now before it even gets into any kind of situation. And once more, we've been suckered in by offsides and VAR. And now we've got an injury to our keeper, so thank you very much. Thank you very much, Julia. I'm not feeling very mastermind-like today, I'm afraid. I'm feeling like I've got pent-up energy, ready to vent it all out. Hopefully nothing serious for Eddie, and we'll have him back. He's clearly feeling some kind of discomfort. I think Man City have just gone with the safe option here. Ortega-Moreno, you go in. Ederson straight down the tunnel. Yeah, he's limping. Honestly, and they won't change anything about these VAR offside and late flag rulings until things happen. It's just been a disaster waiting to happen. I'm amazed it's taken this long, and that's a ball given away by Newcastle, high up as well. Rodri gives it to Jeremy Doku. On the left-hand side, Rodri now to Kovacic. And Josko Gvardiol just providing that extra bit of width that's going to allow Jeremy Doku to cut inside. That's going to be very scary running at that Newcastle defence. Stu, thanks very much for tuning in. Appreciated. Do hope you are well, my friend, as we're now 52 likes away from 100 likes. Just 52 away. So any help towards that would be great. We're getting there. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you are new around here. Here's Nathan Ake, Man City, just over the last minute or two, just starting to get to grips here with the game. Not slowing the pace down, they're just pushing themselves further forward, keeping the ball a little bit better, not making any silly mistakes with the distribution, finding them little pockets of space, knocking the ball around. And I think it's just gathering up confidence because this has been a bit of a strange opening to a game. Newcastle clearly going high energy, all-out press, that front three really trying to put the pressure onto Manchester City, and Ortega-Moreno immediately put under pressure, finds the clearance there, but straight out of play for a throw into Newcastle. Kyle Walker not happy with the challenge that came in a little push in the head. Stu, we did hit 100 in the last one. It came in the post-production, but over 100 likes on that stream. So thumbs up from me. Looking for another 100 today would be great. And that's nearly a good pass into the channel for Bernardo Silva. Just couldn't quite get it under his control. Dubravka. So we've got two backup goalkeepers, Nick Pope and Ederson, both injured for Manchester City and Newcastle. So it's Ortega-Moreno and Martin Dubravka that's There we go. Should be back in business. Hopefully that's all working and all fine. Man City into a good position here. Hopefully you can all... I'm not too concerned about hearing me. I can see... seeing me. I can see that's all fine. Hopefully you can all hear me. I don't mind using StreamYard for my systems. Yeah, let's go. We're back. We're back in business. I'm not a real fan of... I'm a big fan of StreamYard. It's fantastic for collaboration work. It's like a temporary option for streaming, in particular in doing these, but I've got no other choice until I'm back in the JSGZ studio where things run a little bit smoother. So apologies for that. Seems like we're doing all well. And we seem to be good to go. Here is Rodri then for Manchester City. No, I'd almost agree. The whole thing just collapsed. I managed to catch it. The dog tripped over it. Is what happened. Set my camera flying, sent the laptop flying. I managed to catch both, so it's all good. It's exactly what just happened there. As I said, it's entertaining here on the channel. Here's Bernardo Silva. I mean, I'd understand if I had trailing wires, but I've tucked everything in and still somehow managed to trip. Anyway, Foden into a great position, squares it across and good interception that from Bruno G, puts it out for a corner. Manchester City just starting now to show their presence in this game. And thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. And you feel like first goal's crucial. It's why Newcastle went all guns blazing, looking for that opening goal. First goal, absolutely crucial. Corner here for City. Looks like Alvarez is just going to whip this ball in. Ake forward, Rodri forward, Diaz forward. Wow, that's deep. Headed got in by Newcastle. That was a very deep ball in. And Foden dispossessed by Bruno G. Bruno G been getting linked with a move to Manchester City earlier this week. Seems to be getting linked with just about every name under the sun at the moment. January transfer window for you guys. My job now is all about digesting. Are City actually interested? Are Manchester City wanting to make a move? Because obviously it's going to happen in the summer, not in the winter. But you get the murmurs, you get the feelers, and you get the sense that Man City are doing things in the background. And that's the question. And digesting, are these the players that we're looking at when it comes to the summer? And I'd love to let you know, but I've not got the sound on, so I have no idea what they're chanting at the moment. And Seamus, it's temporary, but the Regal Royal chair is back. And you'll see that once I'm less... If Man City end up getting into a good position, like if we go 2-0 up, for example, you'll see me just start to chill out and I'll start to really feel the cushioning of the chair and I can really sit back and appreciate. But at the moment, it's very pensive, this game. Could go in any direction. Right, now we get an early flag. We've had an injury. The linesman knows it's offside. He puts an early flag up. It's taken an injury for that to happen. And tuning in from Los Angeles, California. And Stu, am I in Manchester? It's strictly speaking, classed as Manchester. Is it? This is strictly speaking classed as Manchester? Where we are. Yeah. Mrs. JSGC says, yeah. I don't think so. Not for me. Oh, that's a good ball from Newcastle. Isak's forward. And Ruben Dias does just enough. It looked like it come off Diaz. I thought it was a corner. No. Goal kick. I'll take it. Family, it's because we're taking on two good teams. Newcastle, I don't care that they're 10th. They're a good team. They're a team that are better than finishing 10th. And Tottenham Hotspur are a very good team as well. So when you get these difficult, you get these difficult teams away from home as well. They're complicated. They're not easy games. But we saw Man City get these questions asked of us earlier in the season, in particular in that little sticky patch that we had in towards the end of November and early December, and we didn't rise up to it, and we need to, and quick. Oh, it's well won back by City. Well won back. Rodri, there's the 6 forward. What a ball. Doku in the penalty area. Jeremy Doku squares it. Kovacic can't put his feet out. Oh, Bernardo Silva. He gets underneath it. It goes over the top of his foot and over the top of the crossbar. What a ball from Rodrigo to Jeremy Doku. It fell so nicely to Kovacic and he just couldn't sort his foot out. It falls so nicely to Bernardo and he just can't keep it down. That should have been the opening goal. Isake reckons 2-1 Manchester City. I'm going 2-1 City as well. Anyway, we're past 50 likes now. 48 likes to go. We're on that push to 100 likes. Any help towards that would be great. Here's City coming forward again. Bernardo Silva has been so involved early on. Here's Foden, the informed man. Finds Alvarez, the other informed man. Somehow find Foden. Doku! Oh, it's a great block. It's a great block. I think it was Fabian Schar that makes the block and Diaz plays his pass back to Ortega-Moreno. Stu, it's like North Manchester. It's not Manchester. It's not Manchester City Centre. Holds the county of Greater Manchester, but Greater Manchester is a very big area. Very big area. You know, Greater Manchester stems right up into the Pennines and goes as far west as I think you hit onto the county of Lancashire and towards Preston, so like Bolton area. So it stems. It's a big area. A big area. I mean, it's like people from Royton, Chadderton, Oldham, Rochdale, Bury, where else? Bolton, Stockport, Macclesfield, even parts of Cheshire get classed as Greater Manchester. Are they Manchester? To me, no. But to others, they say yes. It's Foden. Oh, Foden's just a magical player. And Doku has a shot. It's blocked and out for a corner to Manchester City. Greedy from Jeremy Doku. There was a run coming in from Gvardiol. Could have played the pass. Doesn't. Gets a corner instead. The geezer, Dan, not too happy with City being wasteful. We're getting to these good positions. You are right. Man City, how often this season have we played really well, not put our chances away, and been punished from teams that have created very little? Time and time again, you've got to put your opportunities away whilst you're on top. City need to keep up the pressure is what they need to do, and hopefully something will stick. 2-2. We don't want a 2-2 here. We want to win. As I said pre-match, I just don't think a draw suits Newcastle. Doesn't suit Manchester City. A draw today is no good for either team. As I think I figured out what the thingy was. I was just doing a little test to see what the problem was, and I think I just figured it out. It's every time I'm moving the system cuts out and just cuts off for some strange reason. I think it's very sensitive. So if I don't touch anything, nothing goes off. Nothing goes wrong. That's what we're banging on. That's what I was just testing for then. As we're nearly 20 minutes in here at St James's Park. It is 0-0 between Manchester City and Newcastle and Manchester City. Stu, no, I've not had a chance to see it. To be fair, I've not had a real chance to check out any of the academy as of late. Nasty challenge comes in there from, I think it was from Bruno G, and he's into the book. That challenge just follows through. I think he wins the ball as well. Yeah, no, not had a chance to properly check out anything from the academy that much this season. And I've not had a chance to check out anything from the women's team or anything. I've not really been keeping up to date. Poor from me, really poor. It was late that from Bruno, and rightfully goes into the book. I thought he got hold of the ball. He didn't. It was late. Studs up into the book. To me, not a red card. Some people will go out there and argue. I think it should be a red card. That, to me, nasty challenge, yellow card offence. He does it again. He goes. Here's Rodri. Looking for that crossfield pass. It's perfect. Of course it's perfect. It's Rodri into Kyle Walker. Up against Dan Burn. Bernardo Silva then tries to go with the early ball. Can't find it. Poor from Newcastle. Look to just try and as quickly as possible give that to Anthony Gordon. Should have gone backwards and looked for a bit of possession there. Too busy trying to hit Manchester City on the counter-attack and just give the ball away. Isake going for 2-1. Kaweki Bohm, that correctly, going for a 1-1 draw. There's a few draws in there. I get that it's a difficult away match. I'm sticking to a draw's no good. I think both teams really go for this. I don't think either team will settle. I think there'll be a winner. I think a team's taking 3 points. Hopefully, it'll be Manchester City. I think City have been the better team. Newcastle first 5 minutes or so look well up for this game. Crowd behind them. Get the ball in the back of the net. It's offside. Doesn't count. Since then, Man City have got to grips with the game and sorted themselves out, in particular at distribution. Ederson looked a little bit shaky at the back twice before he went off injured. Is City then coming forward? As Stu says, in that under-18s match for City, took on West Ham under-18s, won 2-0 away from home in the FA Youth Cup, which is similar to the FA Cup. Says it was a tough game for Manchester City first half, being pegged back and he had a few chances. We're trying to get things that the first team do, but they're not as good as it yet, and defended well, took it to extra time and went on to win. There we go. There's Kyle Walker into the penalty area, gives it to Bernardo Silva. Rodri into Gvardiol. Just can't sort his feet out. Rodri can't get the ball as well. So Stu, just going back to what you were saying there, it's something Manchester City do a lot of. I've heard even as far down as like the primary school age children that Man City have them playing the Man City style of play of passing the ball around, so they're getting used to it. So these academy players that this implement of play that City have been applying since we've had Pep Guardiola, obviously into how we've had him since 2016, so into our 8th season of doing this. They're literally putting it into the brains of the young players who know no different other than Pep Guardiola's system. In I reckon probably about 5 years' time, you'll start to see these players who are playing for the under-8s, the under-10s, the under-11s, start going through to the under-18s team. You'll start to see them get a lot better at that, is what I reckon. Manchester City found a fan that City wearing their home shirts today and not going with the third kit or the away kit. That's a good ball into the channel for Kyle Walker on the right-hand side. Goes for a ball into the box. I don't think he's looked up. Nobody there. Headed clear by Newcastle, and Anthony Gordon can get that under control. Bruno plays a really good ball into the channel, and Anthony Gordon fancies a little foot race with Ruben Dias. He goes down, and because the ball's already gone out of play, referee doesn't give a free kick. Now, if the ball had remained in play, that would have been a free kick. Anthony Gordon's gone down. He is off the pitch. Are they trying to drag him up back onto the pitch to go down, or they're just trying to drag him back up because they need him to get back? Ball goes to Jeremy Doku now. Here is Rodri for Manchester City. Patrick going for a draw. We don't want a draw. We really don't want a draw. Hopefully we can win as we're now doing really well on the likes. Just 39 likes away from 100 likes. So any help towards that would be fantastic. There's big Premier League game today between Newcastle United and Manchester City, which City starting to get on top of, but haven't put their opportunities away. How many times have we said that this season? Here's Jeremy Doku, recently back from injury, working the ball from left. Kyle Walker on the right. There's 2 in the box, Kyle. Go low. He does go low. Oh, that is a thing of beauty. Bernardo Silva. What a beautiful man. What a finish. Phil Foden's reaction. It says it all. Hands on his head. Walker goes low. Bernardo Silva literally just puts his bottom of his boot onto it. It's majestic. Newcastle are moaning. I don't know what they're moaning. Dan Burns gone over to the City players who are celebrating. Rodri, Ruben Dias getting involved in an argument. Bernardo Silva as well. I don't know what Newcastle are complaining about. They're moaning to the referee. It's a brilliant finish from Bernardo Silva. Take nothing away. It's sensational play. I don't think there's anything wrong with that goal. Let's have a look. What are Newcastle moaning about? What's wrong with that? Dan Burn, what's Dan Burn doing? Why is he so close to his centre-back? Walker in acres of space. He's perfectly onside. Dan Burn's the man keeping him on. There's nothing wrong with that goal. What on earth is Dan Burn moaning about? What is he moaning about? It's a cracking goal from Bernardo Silva, that. Cracking goal from Bernardo Silva. No idea what he's moaning and complaining about. Get in the bin, Dan Burn, you're 1-0 behind. Julia likes it. 1-0 Manchester City. Manchester City fan. Kevin De Bruyne is hot ASF. Manchester City fan. Am I abroad? I can confirm that I am not abroad. I wish that I was, but I am not. I think they're moaning about that challenge that came in on Anthony Gordon from Ruben Dias earlier in the play. As I said, the ball's already gone out of play, which is why a foul's not being given. Man City have chosen not to stop the play because the player down injured is off the field. You play to the referee's whistles, exactly what City have done. It's just god-awful defending. Dan Burn, to me, purely at fault. Newcastle go with an early ball over. Kieran Trippier, first time I've had a chance to say his name, goes for a ball in the box. Who's there? Father Ruben finds the clearance for City. They don't win the initial second ball. Almiron has the ball and a bit of defending here for Manchester City to do. We've worked hard. We've got that opening goal, that all-important opening goal. I said City haven't been clinical enough for my liking. That's gone out of play. It's a throw in Newcastle. Should have been cleared quicker there from Josko Gvardiol. It isn't. So Newcastle have the ball here in a really good position. The geezer Dan, I think you're spot on there, my friend. Need to kill this off as quickly as possible. Just need to weather this little Newcastle storm. They seem to be having little spells. 3-4 minutes here, 3-4 minutes there. Sit back, sit tight, cover them gaps, cover them spaces. Don't give Newcastle anything. And then it's when they give the ball away. Bruno G. He doesn't play for Manchester City. I know he's been getting linked with Man City. He doesn't play for us. Gives the ball away. Here's Foden. Overlap comes in from Alvarez. He doesn't use him. Oh, I was just about to say he doesn't need to use him because he finds the back of the net. But it's just wide from Phil Foden on his weaker right foot. It's a good effort from the informed man. I think he does the right thing not to play the pass. It opens up so much space for him. The shot's there to be taken. It's just not an accurate shot on target. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's on target. That's 2-0 Manchester City. Good work from City. Newcastle 6s and 7s at the moment. Struggling with the pace. Bernardo Silva! Crossbar! Newcastle giving the ball away. Newcastle, what are they doing? What's going on? This needs killing off. I tell you right now, guys, another giveaway by Newcastle. Gvardiol! 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 Oh, he's put it into the stands. Opened up space. He shouts. I tell you what, how much does FG look like Gvardiol? I can't get over just how much they are a double of him. I've been told that at the Huddersfield game, they were on the big screen doing lookalikes. It's a great save from Dubravka to put that onto the crossbar from that Bernardo Silva volley there, you know. I can't believe how much Josko Gvardiol and FG look like each other. It's unbelievable. It's uncanny. Oh, that's a great header won by Newcastle. And the offside flag goes up against Anthony Gordon. I always say, weak point to Man City, the high line. It's that high line here that's causing Newcastle all the bother. They're not keeping themselves onside. They could have had a goal and potentially 2 opportunities if they'd kept themselves onside and looking across the line, keeping themselves onside the arm. It's causing problems for them. It's a dangerous game from City. I think the situation that we're in, it's working for City. It's causing problems. Newcastle are going for this high press. There's space everywhere. There's space everywhere. Man City's midfield are far too good to be falling for this and being caught out. 1 or 2 quick passes into space and you're away. And that's a poor giveaway from Kovacic, and ball gets played across and it's not a great ball, and good clearance there from Ruben Dias and out for a throw-in. Kovacic apologises. We are pressing so well, my friend. I'm going to apologise right now. I can't remember how to pronounce. I'm going to attempt it again, and I'm sure you'll correct me. It's Vosic, maybe? We'll see. maybe it's a better attempt than last time. We're always learning. Not a great hit from Dubravka straight into the stands. But yeah, spot on. City's pressing, very good. Newcastle are doing the same. So what's making this an open, entertaining game of football? It's what I call a ding-dong battle. You go into a ding-dong battle with Manchester City, you're probably not coming on the right end of that. And City give the ball away, and great recovery from Rodri. He celebrates that like he'd scored a goal. Boy, there we go. Wojciech. I need to remember that. Wojciech. And thank you very much for tuning in once more, Wojciech, as well. Much appreciated. Ball comes in from Newcastle. It's not a great ball in. They'll work in that corner and they'll try and work it into space. And Ortega-Moreno just needs to leave that one and does go out for a goal kick. It's hard to. Do you know what, my friend? It's me. It's all me, my friend. It's all me. I have a terrible memory and pronunciation. I've actually set myself a New Year's resolution for myself on YouTube, and that's to get better at pronunciations. I do more research into how to pronounce players to get it correct. You've no idea about the amount of. 1 second, I'll get back to the story in a second because Alvarez is in and Dubravka. Not a convincing save, puts it out for a corner. He makes the save, but it's not convincing. You've no idea about the amount of research that went in yesterday when I was speaking about Bruno G and the amount of times on my takes that I was doing my video. I had to restart my video twice yesterday on my preview in speaking about Bruno G. Bernardo Silva. Oh, it's a great pass into the channel for Kovacic. He's forced back by Bruno G. Gives it to Phil Foden. Rodri was in space, but he wasn't onside, so the pass never came in. So his name's pronounced Bruno Guimaraes, as far as I'm aware. And for some reason, I just kept mispronouncing it. So I said I need to improve on this. Guimaraes. That's what I'm going with. And even then, probably not 100% accurate. As I said, I'm trying to improve. So when it comes to people's names and pronunciations, JSGC, I'm working on it. It's not going to be the complete article. That's a great ball. Isak up against Kyle Walker. Isak! 1-1! It's a great finish from Alexander Isak. I said about that Manchester City high line. Newcastle 2 or 3 times found themselves offside. Finally, time it right. And they do find the back of the net. And I said this ding-dong battle of the game. It's working in favour of Manchester City. It's equally working in favour of Newcastle because they're getting them opportunities. They just weren't keeping themselves onside. Keep themselves onside. Find the equaliser. 1-1. Good finish that from Alexander Isak. Good challenge that came in. Good challenge. Good ball over the top as well. In acres of space. I think it's just a good goal for me. It's just a good goal. The extra run came in from Gordon. He didn't need to do that. It's just a really good goal, that from Newcastle. Really good goal. Who got the assist? It's a cracking ball. It's a great finish from Alexander Isak. Fantastic finish. That's just good football for me. Good football. 1-1. Disappointing from the City point of view, of course, but there we go. Freddie tuning in from Antwerp. And Stu, I do hope that your recovery is going very well, my friend. I'm wishing you all the best with that. And Julie said everybody mispronounces De Bruyne. So I always go with De Bruyne. I know it's pronounced in Belgium as De Bruyne, I think, isn't it? De Bruyne is how I hear a lot of people pronounce it. It's you get into that old habit from the chant of old Kevin De Bruyne. Doesn't quite have the same ring with old Kevin De Bruyne, but there we go. Here's Doku. Oh, a good ball. Gvardiol. Oh, it's a good block. This is a great game of football. Stu, is it not? Julian? They don't pronounce any of the J's in Spanish. In Argentina, they speak Spanish. So I'd be HSGC there. Oh, it's a great goal from Anthony Gordon. Oh, and just like that, the game's flipped on its head. Manchester City ahead 3 minutes ago are behind. One pump forward. It's that right-hand side again. Anthony Gordon cuts in onto his right foot. It's a repeat of the Isak goal. And all of a sudden, Man City look like the better team. Rodri's got his hands out asking the questions. It's just not great defending, but it's good playing. It's clinical. It's good from Anthony Gordon as well. It's the dangers. It's that front three from Newcastle. Equally, Newcastle's defence can't switch off against Manchester City. We can't switch off against Newcastle. He's got the freedom of that left wing, cuts in onto his right foot. Kyle Walker knows that he wants to go in on that right foot. You show him to the left-hand side. It's a great finish, though. Ah. Sorry, guys. I slammed my can down in frustration and said if it interrupts with anything or anything moves, it goes off. And it moved. I slammed it down because I weren't happy. Right, this just isn't going to plan for City. This isn't going to plan for City. Doku's got the pace. Doku's got the pace. Doku. He's tackled. What is this game of football? What is going on? What is going on? I thought Doku just couldn't get the ball under his feet to knock it further on, to take the defender for pace. It's got pace for days. There's plenty of time. City need to make sure they don't panic here. It's going to be like that 3-3 game from last season, isn't it, this? Corner comes in, header won by Newcastle. Rodri's going to keep this in. He's going to let it go out for a throw, and it is a throw into Manchester City. I thought we were going to keep it in because I weren't too sure that was a City throw. Blue Winger, thanks for tuning in, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. Stu, I did pronounce it right. Yeah, a lot of people do say Julian Alvarez. It's they pronounce the J's with a H. I said, so my name would be HSGC. Although they do some strange things with the G in the Spanish language, so I'm not entirely convinced it would be HSGC. It might be, would it be HSTC? Fascinating language. It's a lovely language, the Spanish language. I always find when you listen to them speak so fluently, they speak so quickly, so difficult to pick anything up from what they're saying. I know there's quite a few people that watch this with English as an additional language, so I have to slow down how I speak. I can speak much quicker than what I do. Here's Jeremy Doku. He's just tackled. Come on, Jeremy. And now we're getting frustrated. I said Newcastle were getting frustrated. Here's Isak. Here's Isak. Isak. Save from Ortega-Moreno. Isak should have buried that. That should have been 3-1. Man City should have been 6s and 7s. Man City should have been asking questions. It should have been 3-1. It should have been a killer 2-goal cushion. Newcastle are well up for this. They are well up for this. It's a high-energy game. They will tire in the second half. I'll tell you that right now. Saw it last season. Ruben Dias just got completely done for pace. So defending here, Newcastle's last corner was poor. Can Kieran Trippier put it on the money? And there's some tall, physical players in there that City have to mark up with, and it's a better ball into the box. It's dealt with well by Nathan Ake and Ruben Dias combined. There's another ball pinged into space. There's too much on that, and Kieran Trippier can't keep it in. And a goal kick to Manchester City. Now Man City, they need to just get it going. Get it going. Sorry, guys, I moved it again. I was just checking the clock. We're nearing in on half time, 4 minutes to go. Yeah. We're losing because we've been stung twice down that right-hand side. And I just think there's too much freedom there for the Newcastle attackers, and the Newcastle attackers are too good to be allowed anything of quality. I mean, at the moment, Newcastle have had one offside opportunity, twice offside, where the linesman's flagged early, so there was no opportunity, and then 2 opportunities that they put into the back of the net. So this Newcastle front three, in particular down there, left-hand side, Man City's right-hand side, has been clinical. But we're going back to what we were speaking about before. I said City found the clinical touch in the end and we scored that goal, but City have had 2 or 3 good opportunities, and if we'd created them 2 or 3 opportunities and put them away, the game would be a different scoreline. Trippier goes with an early ball across, not great now for a goal kick. When you're involved in a game like this, it's like the Chelsea away match. There's mistakes left, right, and centre from both teams. So it's literally this game's going to fall down to whichever team puts their opportunities away. And it concerns me that City don't really tighten things up at the back. If you go back to when we conceded that corner when we were 1-0 up, I said City just need to weather this storm and tighten things up at the back. They've not been tightening anything up at the back. They've just continued to play how they've been happy to play. They've found that equaliser through finally keeping themselves on side, and all of a sudden they get caught out. Now Newcastle should have been put in the back of the net. He's miles offside, Almiron there. I'm not even sure the flag's gone up. He looked to try and lob the keeper. I mean, miles offside there. And this is frustrating because the flag never goes up originally. So we've already led to an injury once. That ruling needs to change, and it needs to change not at the end of the season. It needs to change now. It's a terrible rule. It's clear as day offside. Here's Bernardo. There's acres of space for Gvardiol, and he doesn't use him. He's just too busy trying to go through this compact area. It's well won back from Bernardo. Too busy trying to get the ball. Find the space. There's space everywhere. Newcastle are holding so tight to the centre-back. There's so much freedom. It's where City's goal came from. Here's Foden now. Drive forward. Just can't find the pass. Behind Gvardiol, he can let it go. It would have been a throw into City. Chooses to. Keeps it in play. City's clearly just trying to look for finding that equaliser before half-time. Here's Kovacic. Doku, I mean, I know we're behind, but I'm not that concerned with how we're playing that we're not going to score more goals in this game. I'm confident that we are. My bigger concern comes about conceding. The fact that Newcastle come forward to keep themselves on side, I can see them scoring more goals. Not a good ball in, though, from Manchester City, and Dubravka will pick that one up. Need to be doing better than that. Pep Guardiola's head goes down. We're at a point, to me, of no return. It's great finding a run of form and winning 7 of your last 8 in all competitions. But in terms of a Premier League run being put together, we get ourselves into a good position. And then, you know, if we go on to lose this game, all of a sudden, Manchester City are looking in peril, considering we have got trips to Spurs Stadium and Anfield to come in the Premier League as well. And that should be a free kick to Manchester City. And the referee says no. I think Newcastle actually wanted a penalty on that. Not sure why the referee's not given a free kick. It allows Newcastle to get the ball back, and the ball comes into the channel. And Manchester City will collect the ball. So I'm not too sure why the referee never gave a free kick, because Gvardiol just got in front of the ball and then was brought down by Almiron. He kicks him in the back of the leg. These officials, man, they're terrible. Absolutely terrible. Ortega-Moreno sends it long. Not a very good ball. And Newcastle do enough to keep it under control. That Miley kid's looked a little shaky for me. He can find the ball into the box, though, and Anthony Gordon nearly wins the header. Isak can't get it under control. Phil Foden can, and he'll come forward, and that should be a free kick to Manchester City, and it is. So things not going to plan here for Manchester City right now, as we're now 29 likes away from 100 likes. Any help towards that would be great. Do subscribe as well. There's still time. This game's a wide open game. I don't think Newcastle have got are going to do anything other than attack Manchester City because they've got no other choice. Doku goes to the byline, can't keep it in, and that will go out for a goal kick rather than a corner. Doku's can't believe it, but it trust me, it did go out. Nadir, that's where my concern is. Newcastle, I can see scoring another, which means they'll get 3, which means if we want 3 points, we need to score 4. It reminds me of the Chelsea away match. Very similar to that Chelsea away match. There's no real control of this game. They need to get to grips with it in the second half. They need to go out there and score early in the second half, first and foremost, just so we're not behind. I said in an ideal world, we'll go on and we'll find an equaliser before half-time. And that's late, but referee says I'll play the advantage because Phil Foden has the ball into Jeremy Doku. He can find Phil Foden. It looked like Phil Foden was offside there. Linesman's not put his flag up, though. So play continues. Not a good pass from Kovacic, and Anthony Gordon's happy to say thank you very much. I'll have that. And Newcastle can just knock the ball around here at the back. They will spend this long, I reckon. Their distribution out from the back from Newcastle just not been that great. They've looked shaky at times. That's a heavy challenge on Anthony Gordon, and that will be a free kick. It's a needless free kick from Manchester City, needlessly aggressive as well. Rodri's getting really involved and riled up. They need to just calm down. Yeah, we're a goal behind. Newcastle look, there's space everywhere. You just need to just chill out and just really think about things. Rodri's going into the book. Such a needless yellow card, and for a player that is always getting suspended, you know, it's a needless one. So Rodri got stood on by Bruno, so I don't think he forgot about that. So he just checked him out and took him out as a cynical foul. As I said, you need to let things go and just be smarter about it. Such a needless yellow card there from Rodri. And I know he's frustrated. The referee played the advantage. Bruno did stand on him. Has comments been made? I don't know, but you don't rise up to it. Newcastle are 2-1. You need to play the situation. You need to be smarter in the situation. Rodri now for the rest of the game is playing on thin ice. And equally, I'll point towards Bruno's also a little bit of a hothead. So as long as you're willing to keep your head with it, that's something that you can play into your advantage as well. Rodri might be on thin ice, but if you're another one of them midfielders, you're a Kovacic or a Bernardo Silva, you know, you take a touch off Bruno, you go down, you start asking the questions of the referee, and you get him into the ball. Dirty tactics. They're there to be played in football. It's rife with them. Oh, wow, Kovacic, that's a great recovery challenge. Absolutely fantastic recovery challenge, that. I think it was... was it Almiron who made the challenge, I think? I'm not sure. That's a great challenge, whoever it was. Julia, you're spot on. He is a bit of a hothead. You saw it in that Nottingham Forest match where he got sent off and how costly that could be for Man City come the end of the season. I'm not too sure how long's been added on. We're into the 50th minute now. Can't see. I dare not move my system to see how long's been added on, but obviously they're not showing how long's going to be added on, so I don't know. We play on. Which means you play to the whistle. Not a good ball that from Newcastle, and City can cut it out. I think the way City are getting so aggravated and so annoyed by this game, I think I'd probably be quite happy just to get this to half time. Just allow everyone 15 minutes to cool off, get straight ahead and really think about things and be a little bit smarter in this second half. The game's there for City if they want it. What lessons have we learned from Chelsea away? They're the questions. That's where we're at. Here's Alvarez. There was a fair bit of treatment for Ederson in the first half, so there will be a fair chunk added on. Ball given away, a poor touch there from City. Newcastle's got nowhere to go. That's sensible play. That's better. You let him have his run. You don't foul him. He's got nowhere to go. He gives the ball away. Here's Doku. Late corner here for City in the first half. Get a quality ball into the box. Ask the question. This is the perfect time to find an equaliser. It really changes that team talk for Newcastle. I don't think it changes any team talk for Manchester City. They need to be better. They need to be smarter. Newcastle's game plan's just attack. And keeper spilt this one, and it's so lucky there for Dubravka. He spills it. It hits one of the Newcastle players and falls so kindly back to him whilst he's scrambling on the ground. And he gets away with that one, Dubravka, because if that ball spills out and falls to a City player, there's an open net to tap it in. So Dubravka's going to send it long. Is that the half? No. Ball falls to Jeremy Doku. City can create an attack and he's tackled. It's not been Doku's best game, I don't think, this. I think I'd be tempted to have a look at Jack Grealish second half. Here's Isak. It's behind Bruno. Just plays it to the right and there's nobody there, and that'll be a throw-in. Is that half-time now? For Newcastle, all their threats coming down this left-hand side. Anthony Gordon, Alexander Isak, the combinations there. That, to me, is where the danger is. That right-hand side's not really been that effective for Newcastle first half. And for Man City, equally, I think City's in attacking threat looked better on that right-hand side. Defensively, not looked great and not really seen since the goal much of an attacking threat. And Kyle Walker just gives the ball away there. Still, we play on here. How long's left? Finally, we have the half-time whistle. And Newcastle will be very happy with that. Normally, this is where I'd say I'm concerned. I can see some of you guys in the chat saying that you are concerned in the direction that the game's going in. I'm not that concerned about this game because I think the game's there for Manchester City if they want it. Manchester City just need to be smarter about situations. The Rodri yellow card, it's silly. Alexander Isak scores a fantastic goal on the counter-attack. There's vulnerabilities there for Manchester City. So if it's coming that threat down that right-hand side and you concede, you need to tighten it up. And Manchester City didn't tighten it up and they concede a second goal because of it. Second half, tighten up that right-hand side. Defensively, make sure there are no threats. If you want to show Newcastle an output in, move them across. Their threats not coming from the left, move them across to the right. I said that right-hand side's not looking anywhere near as effective as their left-hand side. So cut off supply to the left-hand side. Pack it out. Get them attacks for Newcastle coming down the right-hand side. If Kieran Trippier and Almiron end up having a blinder in the second half, they end up having a blinder in the second half. Because at the moment, the concern for me, the only concern that I've got, is that threat coming in from Gordon and Isak. And it's frustrating. I spoke about it in my preview. I said, they're your dangers. They're the informed players. They know where the back of the net is. They're players that are playing on confidence, playing on the crowd. They know what they're doing. We know what they can do. So you need to do something about it to ensure that it's not made as simple. Couple of well-taken goals, couple of good finishes. For Manchester City, there's been opportunities. My bigger concern has been, since we've gone 2-1 behind, there hasn't been a clear-cut opportunity. And that's Newcastle learning their lesson. They're now in a position where they can say, right, we need to tighten up. Now, if Newcastle concede, you watch how they open their shape up and they start attacking Manchester City and they'll start taking them attacks down the left and down the right-hand side. That's the dangers here. Manchester City need to be smarter. Ideally, we need an equaliser as quickly as possible. I would recommend for Manchester City to treat this almost like, it sounds crazy. I'd treat it like it's 0-0 because I think that's our best route into this game to win this match. You treat it like it's 0-0. You push hard. First phase of the game, first 10, 15 minutes of that second half, you find the equaliser. If you get that equaliser, brilliant. You keep pushing and you keep going. What I don't want to see us do is get an equaliser, start closing it down, tightening the space up and restrict Newcastle. Because as Newcastle have demonstrated to me, they are clinical in front of goal, which means Manchester City, the best way of defence here is attack and constricting them. So if you find that equaliser, you keep pushing, you go for the third. You get the third, you keep pushing, you go for the fourth, etc., and you keep going from there. End of the day, this game, to me, neither side of that brilliant defensively. It all comes down to attacking presence and attacking threat. Newcastle have been clinical, more clinical than Manchester City, that put their chances away. So that's where Manchester City need to improve on in the second half. I can see this being exactly like Chelsea away and ending the same scoreline, 3-0. I can see it being that kind of game. And that's, to me, a point's no good for Newcastle, a point's no good for Manchester City, as far as I'm concerned, unless Manchester City aren't going to lose another game this season and they end up having a winning streak of 12 or 13 games in a row. In an ideal world, I want City to be doing that whilst we've got a little bit of a winning streak going here. Difficult match away from home. You've got difficult matches against Spurs away. You've got difficult matches against Liverpool away from home as well. Difficult home games, Aston Villa, Arsenal. These aren't easy games. There's so much still to play for, but we are not, at this moment in time, the team that's on top of the Premier League. So we're not the team that's in control of the direction of where the league's going. But what we do have is everything in our favour. It's still in our own hands. But if we lose today, it's not in our hands anymore. That's when it becomes difficult. That's when doubt comes into your mind. And when you're not playing another Premier League game again until the end of January, it's a long time to dwell on things. And all of a sudden, your games against Burnley, against Brentford, against Everton, they become more difficult games than what they need to be. Win this game becomes a little bit more straightforward. Man City's February, to me, is a very important month because I look at the fixtures and I say to myself, they are winnable games, in particular looking at City's run in March and April. There's more points to be won. There's more points to be lost. This, to me, is a poignant game in the Premier League because I think if City come away with the win today, they pick up the big 3 points, I think it sends out a real statement to everybody else in the Premier League to say this is going to be a team that takes some stopping. How much longer can we afford the inconsistencies looking at the fixtures that we've got coming up? Because, we drop points. So before we go to Spurs and go to Liverpool, we drop more points between now and then. All of a sudden, then games that become games that we must not lose, the games that we didn't lose at the Etihad, they become must-win games. And if we go to Spurs away and Liverpool away and win them games, that to me then is a big, big danger, considering we to me, do we know how to win at Anfield? We've done it, once? I think we've done it twice whilst I've supported Manchester City. We've done it once, I think, in the last 20 years in a Premier League game. So it's just not going to be an easy game. And that's what we've got coming because of situations like today where do Manchester City know how to win this game? That's the question. Need to see more from City. Really do need to see more. Jame, thanks for tuning in, says Alvarez had no impact in this game. He's not been that involved for Manchester City. With no Erling Haaland available, there's no real other options for Manchester City. Dalton, I'm hoping your positivity comes out. 3 well-taken, beautiful goals would be brilliant in that second half. You fancy, I'm going to throw it out there for you guys. If we're to pick up 3 points today, we score 4 goals, which means basically the second half is all about Manchester City scoring 3 goals. That's how we win this game. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. We don't score 4 goals in this game, we're not coming out with the win, from what I've seen from this defensive performance so far. Villa, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated as well. Just looking at the stats, it's a close game. City dominating possessions you've come to expect. It's no surprise. 69% possession to 31% for Newcastle. 7 shots for Newcastle, 3 on target, a couple of goals. Isak should have scored that goal. It should have been 3 shots on target and 3 goals. The Newcastle have looked dangerous. Offside saved Manchester City very early on in the game. There's been 2 more instances of Newcastle finding space, not keeping themselves onside because Newcastle, they're being clinical. I kid you not, they really could have, if they'd kept themselves onside, probably could have come away with maybe 4 or 5 goals in that first half. That's how open Manchester City are. So I'm not seeing enough from City. 11 shots, 3 on target for how open we are. I'm not seeing enough. And certainly not good enough defensively, but also not good enough offensively and putting the ball away into the back of the net as well. We need to be so much better, so much smarter, and more energy in that second half. I'm looking towards the bench for Manchester City. Before we even start thinking about getting back into the game, you need control at the back. You need control through midfield as well. So I'm looking at players who could be the difference there for Manchester City. Your players like Rico Lewis, potentially helping out on that right-hand side for City. Obviously, your Kevin De Bruyne, if you're needing players to start pinging balls in and start finding assists, and the later this goes into the game and it stays a one-goal game, the more De Bruyne potentially becomes a devastating little ace in the hole for Manchester City. There's nothing more devastating for Newcastle, who are sitting deeper and deeper in the second half. You get to the 70th minute, and you've got arguably the best midfielder in the world coming on for Manchester City, who's got 20 minutes to change a game up, and he's capable of doing it. Matheus Nunes, Kalvin Phillips, maybe, but we're going back to this. Is Man City's squad as good as what people think? Maybe not. Newcastle, well taken. My summary then for the second half. Newcastle, well taken goals. Could have scored more. They're ahead. City have looked for the first 30 minutes like the better team. Newcastle put them opportunities away, and Manchester City just haven't done enough in response. And neither team really has any grip defensively or in midfield as well, which means you're in an out of control game, which means you're in for a ding-dong battle, which means it could go either way. And Man City happy to go in with a ding-dong battle. We had this against Chelsea. We dropped points because we didn't have control and we didn't manage them situations. We're doing the same again here. Are we in for the same results? What lessons have been learned? Massive second half coming up for Manchester City. Nadir, it would be brilliant to get a 4-2 victory. We'll see if it does happen. Daniel, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Daniel, I would get Jack Grealish on in that second half for Jeremy Doku. I don't think Jeremy Doku's had the impact that City were looking for. It's predominantly these attacks have come down the right-hand side. So what City want to do is try and get control through midfield and on that left-hand side. That I'd be tempted to get Kovacic off and get Rico Lewis on and put Rico Lewis onto that right-hand side and move Rodri across to the left-hand side and say to Rico Lewis, your job here predominantly is to fit into that hole for Manchester City on the right-hand side, because at the moment, Kyle Walker looks too exposed for my liking. Ruben Dias is getting done for pace and there's not enough cover. And we once again go back to just how big of an injury it is losing John Stones, because all this that I'm speaking about defensively, we have John Stones here. I just don't think it happens. And we look more settled with John Stones. Fine margins. Very, very fine margins. Anyway, I've got some halftime entertainment for you guys to enjoy. So I will see you guys in 4 minutes' time. It is the Black Russian, brought to you by my partner channel Mixed. Links and details there in the description. I'll see you in 4 minutes, ready for the second half.
Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope the big man has been to your house, as today's present to you guys is the Christmas Black Russian. So it's your classic Black Russian, but with a little bit of a twist with the peppermint or creme de menthe, which is what I'm going to use. So it's quite a simple one to make on Christmas Day, which is today. As all it is a very simple combination. So if you know a Black Russian, it's always a 2-to-1 ratio of vodka to Kahlua. But what we are going to do is add the peppermint, so it's going to be 2-1-1 like that. So what we're going to do is 60ml or 2 ounces of vodka. We're using that Ciroc. But the Black Russian is one of my favourite cocktails to make. I like the simplicity and I like the colour. I love coffee-based liqueur. So 60ml, 2 ounces of vodka. 1 ounce, 30ml of Kahlua, or Tia Maria, or any coffee-based liqueur that you can find. And now what we're going to do now is add the creme de menthe. So you've got peppermint snaps, that's even better. What we're going to do now is add 30ml or 1 ounce of creme de menthe or peppermint schnapps if you have it. Right, so get your bar spoon and now give it a little stir just to mix in. final thing to do now is garnish it with the candy cane. And it's simple as that. One Christmas Black Russian. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. One Christmas Black Russian. How does it taste? It's one of those cocktails that shouldn't work with peppermint, but it does. It's an interesting taste. And I kind of like it. I like that the creme de menthe works with the coffee liqueur and the vodka. It's a weird taste, but it works. It's very peppermint. It's got to say it tastes like Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day with your loved ones as well, with your family and friends. So Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays to everyone around the world that is watching this video today. But that, guys, is the Christmas Black Russian. That is my take on it. Merry Christmas. Absolutely perfect. That does the job. It's simple, it's quick to make, and you can just knock it up on Christmas Day. Beautiful. But that, guys, has been the Christmas Man High. I hope you enjoyed the Christmas cocktails throughout the last month as well. As what we're doing now is doing it. So what we'll be doing now is doing more cocktails in the run to New Year's Day itself now for the start of 2024. So any cocktail recommendation, do let me know below. As the next cocktail will be the Xena. And we'll see you then. Cheers. Tastes like Christmas.
Thank you very much there to Mixid for providing today's halftime entertainment. Do go and check them out. Links and details, they are in the description. So, players just making their way out of the tunnel and back out onto the pitch. What's been said at half time? What changes are Manchester City going to make? It's looking like a very difficult match for Manchester City to try and get back involved in. Clearly, City need to look for a little bit more control in the game. Not really had too much control in the first half. We did manage to get ourselves into a really good position in finding the opening goal, which I always say is so crucial. And then it's all about pushing, trying to get that killer 2-goal cushion and taking the game plan really away from your opponents. It never really happened for Manchester City, and Newcastle seem to have found their clinical touch in the second half of the first half, and it's just caused Manchester City so many problems that defensively just kind of switched off, and you're allowing your quality players, your Anthony Gordons, your Alexander Isaks, the space to get the shots on goal and find them goals as well. That's caused Manchester City so many problems. So it's all about the response and what Manchester City are going to do about it. I mean, I imagine that man on the pitch right now, Eddie Howe, have just said to his team, more of the same, because defensively Newcastle just looked a little bit all over the place. I found Dan Burn sitting far too close to the centre-backs and giving far too much creative freedom on the right-hand side for Manchester City, and then not really seen enough from City since we took the lead on that right-hand side. And it's all been about what Newcastle have been exploiting and not enough about, for me, what Manchester City have been exploiting of Newcastle. But first and foremost, just need to really tighten up in that midfield area, and I'd half be tempted here for Man City to just go with a flat back four, drop Gvardiol onto the left-hand side, have the two centre-backs, and have that little bit of extra cover there for Ruben Dias to allow Walker to focus on that right-hand side. And Kyle Walker really needs to focus and pay attention here, just to try and snuff out the threat and try and almost treat it. I mean, I know he's not Kylian Mbappe, and he's nowhere near Kylian Mbappe's quality, who is, but Anthony Gordon to me is a very good player, and I'd be confident that if your tactic was to say to Kyle Walker, sit tight to Anthony Gordon and man mark him for the rest of the second half and keep him quiet in the game, you kind of take that threat away. You drop with the two centre-backs to try and keep Isak quiet. I've not seen enough from Newcastle's right-hand side to look too many issues, and all of a sudden you gain a little bit more control because you stop that front three of Newcastle, and I'm confident with the players on offer that we've got through midfield and in attack that we can create them opportunities and try and find the back of the net, which it's what the second half is going to come down to, isn't it? And finding the back of the net. Geordie, thanks for tuning in. Very happy Geordie right now, I'm sure as well. I reckon Bruno's going to try and find an assist at some point in the second half. I think we could all see Newcastle finding at least another goal in this game, which means if Man City are to score, if Man City are to go on and win here, we're going to need to score 3 more goals and need to score four goals in a game, which to me just isn't on. You need to score 4 goals in a game. You've not had proper control of that match. I think that's been a big problem, but we need to focus on the situation that we're in. We're 2-1 behind. First and foremost, before you think about anything, you need to try and find that equaliser. Doesn't look like any changes have been made. I'd like to see Jack on the pitch. I think Doku just not offered enough for Manchester City for me. Here's Gvardiol, plays a good pass into the channel. There's a bit of space here for Alvarez. Finds Doku. That's handball, ref! It hits the arm. It hits the arm. The referee's clearly deemed that not. It's not deliberate, but who knows what handball is these days. Is it in a natural position? I mean, he doesn't swing it out towards the ball or lean it towards the ball. I mean, fundamentally, I look at it and I don't think that's handball, but as I said, who knows what officials make of it. It clearly hits the arm, but just because something hits the arm doesn't mean that it's handball. Is it by his side? City aren't really complaining to the referee. I appeal for the handball, but I feel like it's more in hope than expectation from me, if anything. I don't think so. I think I'd be really annoyed if that were given up at the other end, if I'm honest. Anyway, here's Foden to Alvarez. And City just waste that corner. They just worked the ball all the way back to Kyle Walker. We're 50 yards out from goal. You've sent your centre-backs and your defensive players forward, and they're having to sprint back to make sure that there's no potential counter-attack should City lose the ball. And I just wish we'd put more balls into the box from these corners instead of messing around. We're back to me moaning about Man City's corners. Must be another Premier League game day. Just not working. And it's talking of not working. It's just not working for Jeremy Doku out there. First game back from injury. It's going to take a few games to get back into gear, really, isn't it? It's just doesn't seem like the right game for him for me. Here's an attack coming down the right-hand side for City, though, which fills me with confidence. Bernardo Silva finds Rodri. Here's Mateo Kovacic to Rodri once more. It's a good pass. Walker just drill it across. Cuts in. Dan Burn reads it so well. Out for a corner. Reads it so well. Predictable. Anyway, we're 19 likes now away from 100 likes. Any help towards that would be great. And don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new around here. So a corner here for City. Just put a ball into the box. And he is. Alvarez. It's not a good ball into the box. It's just cleared. I think it's Dan Burn again. Here's Alvarez. Goes for another ball. Doesn't beat the first man. Dan Burn again. I wonder how long it is before we turn to De Bruyne for balls into the box. Here's Doku. Andrew, you spot on. Champs do find a way. It's what champions do. Not a good pass from Kovacic. And Bradford's just a little bit slow coming off his line there. He should really have been taking command of that and coming out to collect the ball. He doesn't. And because of it, Newcastle just clear the ball down the line and 30 yards out. City pick the ball up and Foden into the penalty area. Now he's got Doku for support. And Doku should have been thinking first time about a ball into the box. It doesn't come. Kovacic has a shot. It never really sat nicely for him. And it's blocked, and Man City can gather that one up. Anthony Gordon couldn't launch a counter-attack. And again, this is just where I think City need to be extra careful. It's not all about trying to find that equaliser. It's just ensuring that we're tight enough that Newcastle aren't finding that third. I fancy that Man City will find at least another goal in this game, and Rodri's pulled down. It's a free kick in a good position, this for City. Good position, this. Need to make it count. Wojciech. He is not, but he needs to be on that pitch. This set-piece situation that we're in right now. Free kick, 30 yards out. It's De Bruyne range. Corners coming into the box. De Bruyne. Dead ball specialist. He's sat on the bench. Pep says he's good to start. If he's good to start, he's good to come on right now. I don't understand why he's not on that pitch. Need to see more from Manchester City. And Pep's moaning to the fourth official about something. I wonder if this is just worth a very cheeky, quick pass to the right-hand side. The problem is it's Foden that's on that right wing. So they'll pass it down and Foden will have to cut back onto his left-hand side. And that half a yard you get through trying to catch the defence out, you need somebody right-footed to either put a shot in or drill the ball across the box. I think Alvarez is just going to go for an effort on goal, but you're struggling to beat a quality keeper like Dubravka from here. Bernardo also over. It's going to be Alvarez. And yeah, Dubravka just makes a comfortable save. It's a shot on target, but yeah, it's just so far out. You're going to struggle to beat the keeper. Would I take a draw? Under normal circumstances, a draw at St James's Park is a good result. For the context of the position that we find ourselves in the Premier League, I just don't think it serves any purpose. I don't think a draw serves Manchester City well. I think what's the Premier League table looking like? Let me have a look. Because to me, we need to hit 85 points. And we're currently sat on 40 points. And this is our 20th game of the season, which means we needed another 45 points from 18 games. You're leaving yourself it's difficult to do. You need a win streak. With games to come at Spurs Stadium and Anfield, if we end up dropping points there, not just, I mean, they must not lose games, but they're also, you keep dropping points, they'll start to become must-win games. You want to make things easy, not difficult. I keep saying this, you can't keep relying on this form in the second half of the season. You can't keep relying on Man City win 12 or 13 games in a row. You can't keep doing that. Eventually something will give. And my fear is this season more than any other season, I just don't think we have the depth, motivation and the players to do it. I don't think we're as good as what we were last season. And there were times last season where I was saying I don't think we're that good. And we went on to win the treble, so clearly they are good. And then we've let 3 or 4 of them players leave. So, I mean, to be fair, it's not my chair. I can neither confirm nor deny. She's looking too goofy today. It's gone a bit scrappy, this game, hasn't it? Marlon, thanks for tuning in. Wants De Bruyne on for Kovacic. I think that's what I'd be looking for. Hughes going for 3-2 Newcastle, he reckons, today. I want to see more from Manchester City. How long do you leave this before you see De Bruyne? Ball given away from City. It's good defending from Ruben Dias. I don't think he had the best first half. I mean, him and Kyle Walker have looked at certain points this season a little shaky. A bit shaky in this game. That's a foul by Bernardo Silva. He legs him up. Surprised if he don't go in the book for that, to be honest. Just completely cuts that attack out. Yeah, he doesn't mean to do it, Bernardo. He's just trying to put his foot in front of the ball and make the interception. It doesn't happen. Takes the man. And he's given a yellow card. I'm not surprised by that. As we're now 18 likes away from 100 likes. So there's some defending here for City to do first. I'm just looking for Man City just to try and grow themselves into the game. Once you start to cut off the threat of Newcastle is when I'd really push to try and find that equaliser and push on from there. At the moment, I'm not entirely convinced that the threat of Newcastle's been snuffed out. This goes 3-1. You're staring down a barrel, really. Ball comes in from Newcastle. Header was won. Didn't generate anywhere near enough power to cause any problems. But there's another danger, set play, and the physicality that Newcastle have. And Kieran Trippier does a good bit of defending up against Jeremy Doku. It weren't the best of passes that came in from Bernardo. And that attack breaks down. And that's a silly giveaway there from Dubravka. He just launches one long ball forward. It's to nobody in particular and just gives the ball away. And through 2 touches now, Manchester City are attacking and down the right-hand side. It's self-inflicted by Newcastle. I say City need to be smarter. I think Newcastle need to be smarter in them kind of situations. I know City might not be having their best of games, but you're giving the ball away needlessly to a team as good as what Manchester City can be. You'll get punished. That's a great pass from Bernardo. Rodri gets the ball. Here's Kyle Walker. Doesn't go first time. It should have gone first time for me. Here's Bernardo. Just floats the ball to the left-hand side. Can't win the header. Kovacic will mop that up. Gvardiol's out of position now. So Jeremy Doku just has to, we have to go backwards. Now, Rodri, I think back to goal. It was Rodri rocket range that. Here's Bernardo to Rodri once more. This is good passage of play for City. Foden. They keep just, Foden has a shot, good save, low down. It's better for Manchester City. City just seem to be whacking these passes at each other in the hope that you'll be able to control them. The weight of the passes are unnecessary for Manchester City there for me. It's a shot on target. It's a question of Dubravka. It's better. I want to see more. We created an opportunity there. And this is what you do. You create your opportunities. You force Newcastle onto the back foot. They give the ball away. And what City now need to be doing is as quickly as possible, find that ball into a bit of space. Here's Gvardiol. There's space there. There's space left, right and centre. With how tight Dan Burn is to them centre-backs, there's space there. I would like to see, if we're not going to take Doku off, get him onto the right-hand side. Try and get Dan Burn to come out. Jeremy Doku running at Dan Burn. Good work that from Jeremy Doku. It's better from Jeremy Doku. Wins the ball back for City. Rodri just floats it across to the left-hand side. Here's Gvardiol. Through the legs. Finds Doku. He's got nowhere to go. Do you know, he does well. Tackle comes in from Almiron. I think Almiron's just happy to make the tackle and happy to concede the corner. Stephen, I'm having to use StreamYard. You can see it's at the top, powered by StreamYard. So it doesn't allow me to put the clocks and everything that I normally have in play. Once I'm back in my studio and I have OBS available, it'll all be back again, but it's not going to be for a couple more weeks yet, my friend. So it won't be for the next live watch along either, but perhaps after that, we'll see. Here's Bernardo. Gives the ball to Walker. Do not have a shot, Kyle. I know you love a shot from 40 yards out, but do not. This is not the time to be doing that. Walker then finds Rodri. Looking for the overlap. Comes in from Foden. Gives Rodri a little bit of space. Here's Alvarez. Has to drop really deep to get the ball. Falls nicely for Bernardo. He doesn't have the shot. It twists and turns. Rodri now. Good feet from Rodri. And header comes in from Newcastle. It's another corner to City. It's better. Newcastle on the back foot. Now, this is for City where they need to just push in, try and get that equaliser. Alvarez to take them. Gives it to Foden, and too much on it. Too much on that from Foden. I said it's equally about getting control and defending. It's just as much about putting your chances away. And it's just nowhere near that from Phil. Nowhere near. Ederson's looking very grumpy on the bench. Got his legs stretched out. Went down very early in the first half, and the fact that they've not seen much movement from the bench from Manchester City causes me some concern. Newcastle just knocking the ball around at the back. Keep the pressure on. Force the mistake. Dan Burn sends it long. There's the mistake. Given away. Mop it up. Mop it up. Good stuff. Kyle Walker then. Why are you going for a back heel? He's right by the touchline and he's going for a back heel for no reason whatsoever. The ball just goes out of play for a throw-in. Not been Kyle's game, this. And I said before, I'm not going to comment on his private life. It's his private life, none of our business. I just want Kyle Walker to give out a City throw-in. I just want him to give his all. I want him to play a good game, and he's not. It can be very costly, that, for Manchester City. Very costly, as we're now 17 likes away from 100 likes. Carrying on like this, I can see this ending up 3-1 Newcastle, to be honest. City just don't seem at the races. It's just needlessly giving out a play for a throw into Newcastle in a dangerous area. And you think about the response of, great interception from Julian Alvarez. This is where City need to be thinking about the counter-attack. They need to be thinking, all guns blazing here, try and find that goal. Walker, great run from Walker, finds the ball across. Rodri can't make the challenge, and it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle. Really good defending that from Newcastle, really good defending. Newcastle asking the question of Rodri on the yellow card and the challenge on Bruno. There's no malice, he's just trying to find the goal. That's much better from City. That's where you need that extra injection of pace. Walker just offered that on the right-hand side. Surprise, surprise. Man City's attacking threat on the right-hand side. It's there for everyone to see. It's a good pullback that from Kyle Walker. Foden just slightly behind him, so he couldn't have the tap in. It's a really good interception by Bruno G and a good clearance, and buys the free kick as well. Good defending from Newcastle. Really good defending. Well won back this by Manchester City. It's better. It's much better now. Here's Bernardo. Tries to find the pass in towards Foden. It's too much on it and cut off by Dubravka. They need to keep the heads up and keep going. Bruyne now is going to be coming on very soon. Boots, socks are on. He'll be on for Manchester City very soon. Dubravka then just rolls this one out. Newcastle, you see, City are getting control of the game. Newcastle are just slowing the play down now. Dare I suggest that they're maybe getting a little bit tired from the high press of the first half and the game just catching up with them. Remember, Newcastle don't really have that depth on the bench. Here's Doku. If we can find an equaliser, I can see City finding a goal very quickly, and Alvarez should be scoring from there. It's a good save from Dubravka, but it's straight at him. Anywhere else, it's on target, you find the back of the net. Alvarez should score there for me. Here's Rodri. There's space for Walker on that right. They need to work the ball a little bit quicker. Here's Ruben Dias for Manchester City now. Now, just notice how the crowd's got a bit pensive at St James's Park. Critical part of the game. Not in control at the moment of this Newcastle. They're up against it. Great run from Doku. Can't beat the first man. Will be a throw into Manchester City. It's good defending from Newcastle. Surprised the fans aren't up on the feet, to be honest, encouraging the defence. It's been a good defensive display from them second half. Their defence has looked tighter and looked better, and the midfield's been closing them gaps down much better than what they were in the first half. But it is all about Manchester City right now. And Newcastle, just the defence is just dropping deeper and deeper. It's why the counter-attack isn't really of a threat to Manchester City. So this is the point now. They need to find a goal. Should be a corner to Manchester City. Doku tries to have an effort on goal and out for a corner. De Bruyne needs to come on for me now. City try and go with a short corner. I mean, Doku's in space there. Not the best of passes, but it does the job. Finds the man. It's short. Corners, just, I'm not keen on them, guys. I'm not sold on them. Not sold on them at all. Newcastle just can't get out. City do love the challenge, but they can make life easier for themselves as well, and they're not. And you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, eventually something gives. Here's Foden into the penalty area. Doku gets the overlap of Bernardo, doesn't use him, he just can't. Doku's been far too greedy for me. I know we're crying out for Kevin De Bruyne. I want to see Jack Grealish on that left-hand side. This game's just not for Doku. Here's Anthony Gordon now, looking to try and find that attacking threat. Dan Burns raced forward, and he somehow found the pass. And it's good goalkeeping from Ortega-Moreno. How has Dan Burn managed to find that pass? Kovacic needs to be smart, and I think he's not got the free kick there. How is that not a free kick? Beggars belief. Here's Bruno G. It sits nicely up for him, and a block comes in from his own Newcastle player, and Ortega-Moreno is going to keep that in place. That's a lovely touch from Bernardo Silva. Not only is it under his control, he takes it ahead of him as well, and all of a sudden now, through 3 passes, sitting now on the edge of Newcastle's penalty area, threaded through Alvarez. There's nobody in the box for support. The support comes now. Here comes the cavalry. Rodri to Kovacic. Lines up for Kovacic and takes a deflection, and nearly there from Manchester City. You buy your own look in football. Doesn't quite work. Clock is ticking against Manchester City now. And that easily could have just wrong-footed the keeper. How many times have you seen Manchester City concede from deflected goals, wrong-footing the goalkeeper? And this is what happens when you have efforts on goal. Here's Bernardo Silva now. To Rodri. Rodri rocket. It goes down. That's a free kick. Good position this for Manchester City. No. You're not walking past here. I have the dog here that knocked over the stuff before. You can go behind. Go behind. Go on. Go on. Go behind. You're not going there. No, you're not touching it either. No, you're not touching it. It will go off. Nope. A good free position this for a free kick for Manchester City. And I think it's Bernardo Silva that's going to go off for Kevin De Bruyne. So De Bruyne is going to come on. This is De Bruyne range. What an introduction back to the Premier League this will be. No. Go on, away. You're lurking with intent. Got the dog here. You just move that quiet. That's where my concern is. This is very much Kevin De Bruyne territory, 20 yards out. He's not touched the ball. He's going to come on here and he's going to have a shot. And what an equaliser this will be for Manchester City if he does find it. Man lies down in front of the wall. It's about, is it too close? Can he get it up and down is the question. Here's De Bruyne into the wall. Can City get it to sit nice? Doku. Goes with the cross. It's Diaz is there. Heads it back across. Rodri is looking for it. Surely he blazed it over the bar. Alvarez. They need to go. You need to be clinical. It's better for Manchester City, but they need to go. I'm sorry, but they have to be buried into the back of the net. They have to be buried into the back of the net. He's 8 yards out. It falls so nicely to him. He's in acres of space. I'm sorry, but that should be in the back of the net. That should be 2-2. It's a woeful miss. Julian Alvarez just gets excited and just puts his foot onto it, and he's just leaning back. I needed to put the toe end of his boot right through that. That's 2-2. You get the feeling it's not going to be your day. I just think City need an equaliser. I really do. It's a poor challenge coming in, but Kyle Walker sorted his feet out so nicely. Here's De Bruyne, who hasn't sorted his feet out, so he has to go behind him, and it takes it away. Here's Rodri. He's got Foden. Here's De Bruyne. So De Bruyne's gone onto that right-hand side. Oh, it's a great ball, De Bruyne and Alvarez. It's a good block. Foden! Foden! Can't flash it across goal, and it's out for a throw-in. How long's left? 19 minutes. 19 big minutes for Manchester City. Foden should be finding the target from there. We're just not being clinical enough here. And City, it's so frustrating because we've dominated this game. We've been the better team. We've looked so much better second half. Newcastle they've been limited to nothing, but they've not needed to do anything because City have had opportunity after opportunity to find them equalisers and they're just not being clinical enough. So many shots off target. Here's Walker. All this attacking threats coming down this right-hand side. Rodri. Who's that to? Straight out of play for a goal kick. Who is that to? Man City can't believe it. I think they wanted a corner. What are they appealing for? It looked like it was just a straight-up goal kick. Rodri can't believe it. No, yeah, it's a big-time. It's a big-time corner for Manchester City. It's taking a deflection on its way through. Poor officiating. Takes a big deflection off the shin of the Newcastle defender. Not given. Doesn't matter because we wouldn't do much from it anyway. Anyway, free kick here for Manchester City. Is he getting frustrated? Smart. Got to be smart. Here's Diaz then. Kovacic. Rodri. Oh, it's a great pass. Here's De Bruyne. De Bruyne! He's passing it in the back of the net! It's what KDB does! Kevin De Bruyne finds the equaliser for Manchester City. It was like slow motion. Brilliant finish, De Bruyne. Boy, have we missed him. And Manchester City, from nothing, find the equaliser. He says, be smart. Plenty of time. What have we got left on the clock? 17 minutes. Big moment. Newcastle need the response. City will want the winner. It's just 30 yards out. Space opens up for him. He just passes it through the legs of Fabian Schar and into the back of the net. Different gravy is the term. He's just an exceptional player, Kevin De Bruyne. What a player Kevin De Bruyne is. And all of that frustration let out by Manchester City. There's that equaliser. And here come Newcastle now with the press. Clear your lines, Kyle. Just clear your lines. Ortega-Moreno does the right thing. He puts it in the stands. Smart. You find the equaliser. Be smart. 12 likes then from 100. Any help to us, that'd be much appreciated. Do subscribe as well. Jame says, well done. Stu's score still on. AD says, let's go for the winner. Family says, come on. Julia, happy with that. Ball over the top here for Newcastle. And all of a sudden, we're seeing some attacking threat once more from Newcastle. We're coming forward again. And just taken away from the feet of Bruno, and he stays down. And Man City aren't thinking about Bruno. They're thinking about a counter-attacking goal. Here's Phil Foden. Needs to find the pass. Finds Julian Alvarez. De Bruyne is peeled away, and he's got space. That's dangerous when De Bruyne has space. Here is Julian Alvarez. De Bruyne now. Bruno back on his feet and tracking back. Man City just slowed everything down. Julia, I will see what I can do with the De Bruyne emoji. Rodri now. To Kovacic. It's been played at slow motion, this by Man City. Sideways passing. Get going. Go. Tails are up. Go. Here's Rodri. Kovacic. De Bruyne is in space on that right-hand side. Kovacic does so well to find him. De Bruyne times his run. I thought it just strayed offside then. Rodri now. to Ruben Dias. Rodri once more. Ruben now back to the right-hand side. De Bruyne. Foden points to where he wants it. It's just playing across the ground. He's looking for Josko Gvardiol, but he'd gone for the back post, and it allowed Newcastle just to find clearance and get that upfield. There's nobody there for Newcastle. This is where Newcastle now should be looking towards their bench. I said they've not got that depth. Get control of the game, patient, put your opportunity away, find that equaliser. Big 15 minutes here for Manchester City then. I'm not ruling out Newcastle either. They will wait patiently for that opportunity. But here's De Bruyne. Goes for a cross, headed clear by Dan Burn and hooked clear further by Newcastle. Only as far as Mateo Kovacic. If you're Manchester City, surely you're just thinking, give that ball to De Bruyne. Kovacic to Foden. Foden has a shot, blocked well by Newcastle. And Anthony Gordon should get there ahead of KDB. He does, and he can find the pass, and Dan Burn should get this one clear as well. He wants the challenge to come in. It doesn't, so he has to just send it long, and there's nobody there. Poor clearance from Dan Burn, and once more Manchester City think about another attack. Here is De Bruyne now to Phil Foden. De Bruyne has just peeled away from his defender. Lovely quick pass into Rodri. Here's Kovacic. Everything De Bruyne is touching at the moment is just turned into gold. Give that ball to De Bruyne. Here's Kyle Walker. De Bruyne has peeled away again. He's in space. Give him the ball. Here's De Bruyne now. Finds Rodri. Just about gets it under his control and then he's tackled. Yeah, he never looked comfortable then, Rodri. And Nathan Ake should mop that one up, and a nice, sensible pass. Good play from Manchester City. It's the first time I've felt confident that Man City have a full gathering control on this game. Here's Foden now, driving. De Bruyne has got the overlap. Foden doesn't use him. Kovacic is in space. He's not used him. Now to De Bruyne. Gets himself on side, goes low, and Alvarez just couldn't dart in at the near post. And Dubravka will gratefully just grasp onto that ball and try and slow this one down. We're now 11 likes away from 100 likes. And Newcastle got some space to deal with here. Here's Almiron. Not really seen anything of Almiron in this game so far. To Alexander Isak. Nearly gives the ball away. Bruno's come forward. Gives the ball to Anthony Gordon. Dan Burns forward. Gordon wants to get the shot. Takes a deflection and wide and out for a corner, I think, to Newcastle there. And the Newcastle fans back on their feet there, applauding. So some defending here for Manchester City to do. Newcastle looking so tired now. But the attacking threat is there. So we have to be cautious. We have to defend and defend well. These set pieces are a tall, physical team. Schar, Isak knows midget, Dan Burn. Trippier with a ball into the box, just about headed clear, and Doku's going to think about the counter-attack, and that's well mopped up by Kieran Trippier, and he can just play the ball back. And this is where City's line now just needs to push right out. Force Newcastle back onto the back foot. Dubravka, it's not a great ball from Dubravka. Header from Kovacic is good, finds Doku. Foden goes for a long effort from goal, and it's spilt by the goalkeeper. Audacious effort there from Phil Foden. That would have been right up there for goal of the season had Foden put that one in. Here's Bruno, finds the pass. And Newcastle now have a bit of space to work with. Here's Almiron. Almiron's got nowhere to go. City force him to turn and play a pass back, and Bruno's got to go back. Good work back from Manchester City from a defensive point of view. Good work. Here's Bruno. Again, just forced back. I wonder if Newcastle are just happy just to have a little bit of possession. Just to try and create that opportunity. It has taken Newcastle to concede to try and come out to play again. Does mean there's a little bit of space for City to work with. So counter-attacks become an option for Manchester City. Into the channel here, Newcastle, not a good ball over the top, and Ortega-Moreno will gather that one up for City, and City can start thinking about creating their own opportunity. Here's Rodri then. Work to the left-hand side. Here's Kovacic. I once again call on, I'd like to see Jack Grealish, I really would. A little bit more security on that left-hand side for Manchester City, I think would work really well. Here's Nathan Ake. gives the ball to Ruben Dias. Here's Phil Foden now to Ruben Dias. Kyle Walker gives the ball to Phil Foden. Not know where to go. So good with his feet, though. And City managed to get it to Doku on the left. Gvardiol had made that run into that little bit of space on the left-hand side. Doku doesn't play the passing, and this might just fall nicely for City here. Ping-ponging around, and Newcastle just get that one clear. They do the right thing there. How long's left? What we're looking at? Just over 8 minutes. The thing is, I don't think Newcastle have the answer. Eddie Howe's in deep discussions with his staff, and I just don't think there's that many answers. Oscar Bobb's coming on for Jeremy Doku, which, what does that tell you about Jack Grealish and the confidence in him that he's opted not to go with Grealish and gone with Oscar Bobb instead? What can Oscar Bobb do? An Oscar Bobb winner. Now, that would be legendary, and it could be so important come the end of the season. Here's Kyle Walker. What can Manchester City do? And into the nervous 90s now. 10 likes to go. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. Do subscribe as well if you're new around here. Here is Phil Foden for Manchester City. Gives the ball to Ruben Dias. Here's Mateo Kovacic now with the ball. Kyle Walker pings a ball across. Tries to find Gvardiol. Does well to get that under control. He does well to find the pass. Finds Oscar Bobb. Bobb can't find his pass, though, and Newcastle just smother that one out. And I think they'd probably be happy to see Doku go off just to take that attacking pace threat away from Manchester City. But City clearly just looking for some fresh legs out there on the left-hand side. Doku's only just come back from injury. I thought it'd have been Grealish that City had been looking for the protection of the left-hand side, considering all of City's attacking threat to me has come down this right-hand side. Here's Rodri now. Rodri! Great save, Dubravka. He does so well to find that shot and bend it, and Dubravka gets down so well. Not only does he make the save, he pushes it away from goal and out for a corner. Really good save that from Martin Dubravka. More defending for Newcastle to do. It's De Bruyne then that's on the set pieces, not Alvarez. Diaz forward. Ake forward. There's a bit of grappling going on. Go down. The amount of grappling and shirt pulling that goes on from corners. Why don't they just go down and appeal? It's absolutely ridiculous. Foden finds De Bruyne onside. Just plays a half-volleyed ball across the box. Newcastle deal with it. Foden finds Oscar Bobb. Into De Bruyne, tries to find Rodri, and it takes a deflection. That'll go out for another corner to Manchester City. And Newcastle now all about defence. Trying to get St James's Park on its feet. Holding on. Headed up towards the keeper, and it dips just below the crossbar, and he just taps it over the top of the crossbar and out for another corner to Manchester City. Come on. Nadir, I hope so, my friend. I really do. It's there. I think there's an opportunity. We've got to be clinical. De Bruyne, corner comes in. Ake's gone up really early. Dan Burns winning that every day of the week in the air. City just need to be wary of the counter-attack from these set pieces. Nice, thank you very much. And Manchester City have themselves a throw, and Newcastle just look knackered. Dan Burns looks knackered. And we do see Newcastle go to the bench now just to get some fresh legs onto the pitch. I wonder if this is just a formation change. Yeah, Anthony Gordon, he goes off. There's De Bruyne to Foden. As Kieran Trippier just picks the ball up here for Newcastle. think it's Lewis Hall that's come on for Newcastle. There's a bit of a foot race here, and Nathan Ake's done enough, and the offside flag does go up. Gvardiol really angry at the linesman there that these late flags. Here's Oscar Bobb. Does really well in that tight space. He's got no support, but gets the free kick. Oscar Bobb. Brilliant from Oscar Bobb. As we're still 10 likes away from 100 likes. Can we hit 100 likes? I hope so. Another 100 like live stream would be absolutely brilliant. Here's Rodri then to Kyle Walker. Finds Ruben Dias. Rodri tries to find that pass to Foden. Somehow finds Phil Foden. De Bruyne has done the overlap. He goes for the near post, and it's great defending once more from Newcastle. Great defending. I wonder if you might see Paul Dummett come on. He had a good game, I thought, in that League Cup game that City played against Newcastle. Here's Ruben Dias. Again, this threat for City coming down the right-hand side. Foden once more. We've got 3 minutes plus whatever's to be added on here to go. Here's Kovacic. Gives the ball to Josko Gvardiol. Back to Kovacic. I wonder if it might be worthwhile maybe chucking on Matheus Nunes for Kovacic or somebody. I just don't think a point here is enough. Massive few minutes remaining. Gvardiol gives it to Kovacic. De Bruyne can't find the pass. Should be a free kick to Newcastle and is. De Bruyne not happy with that. Newcastle happy just to take their time here. Newcastle clearly happy with the point. Is it once again going to be another time when Manchester City come to St James's Park and don't come away with anything, or don't come away with the win? Lost earlier in the season in the League Cup. We drew 3-3 here last season. It could be a case where we're not beating Newcastle again this season. 2-2 here. Big couple of minutes plus whatever's to be added on here. I think there's another goal in this game. I think there's a 5th goal. That's good defending from Kyle Walker. It's not been easy in the first half for him. I think he's been much better in the second half. Here is KDB now. Kyle Walker now with a throw-in. Needs to be careful and finds the pass back to Ortega-Moreno. He has got Nathan Ake in space. He uses Ruben Dias instead, and that's good play from City. Through 2 touches, they're all of a sudden thinking about the counter-attack. Good play by Rodri as well. It's twice now they've had a pop at Rodri there. Twice. That's a good pass. Now, Gvardiol can't sort his feet out. Nobody's there to stretch the pitch, and Gvardiol's frustrated. As we're now 9 likes away from 100 likes. Lydia, they are Alaskan Malamutes. Here is Ruben Dias. Gives the ball to Phil Foden. Kyle Walker. Here's Kovacic. Gives the ball to Nathan Ake. Gvardiol now to De Bruyne, just leaves it, and Oscar Bobb had ran past the ball so Newcastle can get it clear. But only as far as Rodri once more. De Bruyne would cry for that pass because it had been onside. Gvardiol now does find Kevin De Bruyne. And here's Rodri. And that presence that he has in midfield, De Bruyne, we've missed it. We really have missed it. Here's Gvardiol now to KDB. Walker's made the run. Oh, De Bruyne nearly finds the pass. Good block that from Newcastle. Ruben Dias then back to KDB. Here's Kovacic. Give the ball to KDB. Everything's running through KDB at the moment. He's the man that might make something happen. And Bobb! Oscar Bobb! Oscar Bobb! Just a second lead! Kevin De Bruyne, what a ball across! Manchester City! What a second half performance, guys! Wow! What a ball! That away end, there's some limbs in that away end. Wow, wow, wow! How big could that be? De Bruyne, Oscar Bobb's onside. Beautiful touch away from Kieran Trippier. I was thinking in my head, go down, take the penalty. He sidesteps him, tapping. And I said, Oscar Bobb, is he the man to go and do it? That's a thing of absolute beauty. Absolute beauty. Lovely feet from Oscar Bobb. Come of the hour. Come of the Manchester City youngster from Norway. That is sensational. The dog is blue. The dog is happy. Dad is happy. Everyone delighted. Defending for City to do them. Ruben Dias. Nathan Ake can't find the header. Ruben Dias chucking himself in front of it. It's desperate for Manchester City. And shot comes in from Almiron. And Newcastle want a penalty for handball. They're pleading and begging for a handball. Referee says no penalty. And in the midst of all that, play will continue whilst VAR will have a look at that. It didn't look like there was any hand in that. It looked more out of desperation from Newcastle more than anything. Now, this is a situation that Man City need to manage really well. I go back to what I said to you guys. Chelsea away, we got into this position and then we stopped back. So the players stopped whilst they're checking a potential handball, and check complete, no handball. Referee says, on we go. They need to see a replay of that. I think Man City need to be thinking about finding a fourth. Foden, he has his pocket picked by Lewis Hall. How long's been added on? 3 minutes. We're through them 3 minutes, so there can't be long left. Right in added time for Manchester City, and De Bruyne goes down, and he's given a free kick against KDB. How is he giving a free kick against KDB? Right, we're in added time on added time. There'll be about a minute and a half, I reckon, to play here. So nothing stupid from Manchester City. Newcastle just going to have to chuck the kitchen sink and hope for the best. I said nobody's ready. The Premier League's not ready for long-haired KDB. Goal and an assist. Winning the header for Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne. What a player. 7 likes from 100. Get them likes in, guys. And that's the full-time whistle. What a victory. What a moment. How on earth have Manchester City managed to do that? Somebody said in the chat before, you are spot on. This is what champions are made of. This is what champions do. Not at our best. We turn up in the big moments and find what is a huge 3 points, 3 goals. The City players are celebrating this like they've just won the Premier League. They know how important that was. That was special. That was special, guys. Wow, Kevin De Bruyne, well and truly back. Eddie Howe is sick in his mouth. You can just tell. Right, guys, I'm going to quickly get through my promo and I'm going to get my match review, match reaction, and match analysis out for you guys. I think the dog wants to go out as well, so I'm going to wrap that up. 5 likes from 100 likes. Let's get them likes in now whilst we are here live for the next minute or so. That would be absolutely brilliant. So if you are new around here, subscribe. We'll be live again less than 2 weeks' time, 13 days' time. Manchester City away at Tottenham Hotspur in the FA Cup. 4th round. We're into a little winter break. Players will have a few days off, and then they will come back for a winter break in Abu Dhabi, and then we're ready to go again for that big push second half of the season. Glorious, glorious moment for Manchester City, and that man, the Norwegian youngster, Oscar Bobb. Tonight belongs to Oscar Bobb, but Kevin De Bruyne, what a player. And everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. It is much appreciated. City up to second, 2 points behind Liverpool. They've now got to play AFC Bournemouth away next week. Pressure's on them. We've got the game in hand against Brentford at home. That's going to be played at the end of February. So there's lots still to play for. Manchester City tonight very much belongs to them. Anyway, as I said, leave a thumbs up. We're just 5 likes away from 100 likes. So hopefully we can hit that whilst we're live. Do go check out my social media links. They're in the description. If you want to go and check out my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries. Also, don't forget as well to leave your thoughts in the live chat whilst we're live for the next few seconds or so. And also in the comments below. That would be much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you all again real soon. I'll have my match review out for you guys to enjoy within the next hour. I will also have my daily Manchester City transfer updates coming in from tomorrow as well. And we'll be back for another live watch along, not next Friday, but the Friday after, when Manchester City take on Tottenham Hotspur on the 26th of January, heading into this little winter break with the dub, with the win, comeback win, Kevin De Bruyne, beautiful man, Oscar Bobb. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. One final thing. My team, Miami Dolphins, in the NFL, the playoff wildcard weekend starts this evening away at Arrowhead against Kansas City Chiefs. Minus temperatures in the snow. It's freezing cold. JSGC will be watching that one, of course, and wishing the Miami Dolphins, my team, the very best of luck for that game. And hopefully they can win that and progress in the playoffs, because for all my time of supporting Miami Dolphins, never seen them win in the playoffs. It's been a great Saturday so far. Hopefully that can continue. Thank you so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. I've been JSGC. Peace. Ciao for now.